What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday night. Yes. How's everybody doing tonight? I just want to say hello. My name is Jim, and this is Jim Tells You. We're going to be covering some news and some topics. We'll talk about some stuff, maybe laugh a little, have a good time. I got a little reflection going on here. I got to fix my light. My light's all jacked up. Oh, there we go. Just do a little production on the fly. But anyway, yeah, so we got some news stories to talk about. Mr. K's already got 5 in on the super chat goal of 30, 25 to go. So I do have a bunch of stuff to catch up on from last night, plus a bunch of stuff for tonight to go through. So if we hit the goal of 30, then we're going to go, 4 hours, 5 hours, whatever. We'll knock it all out. So I want to say hi to everybody. Hi, Mr. K. Hi, Unhyphenated. Hi, JD. Hi, Critter Sitter. How you doing, Catherine K? We're just going to get rolling. And I know Joe is streaming tonight. He's going to start at like 10:30, so I'm sure I'm going to lose a bunch of people going to go over there, but it is what it is. I thought he was going to start streaming earlier at 8, he told me, so I was thought, anyway, but it is what it is. Anyway, the first story this evening is going to be, we're going to get back to talk about Judge Boasberg real quick. Hi, Tika, how you doing? We'll do this here. The DOJ sees a breach of judicial oath in judges' leaked Trump criticism. We talked about this briefly last night, I believe, that Judge Boasberg made some comments in front of Chief Justice Roberts talking about, what happens if a judge goes so crazy that Trump has to ignore him and stuff like that. So we're going to see what it says here because, So Department of Justice officials are criticizing what they say were expressions of clear bias against President Donald Trump in private comments from a top federal judge, following a report Wednesday on leaked notes from a judicial conference in March. Hey, Life Indifferent, how you doing? J.H. Swalbeck, how you doing? I'm going to tell you. I'll tell you all. I'll tell you repeatedly, over and over again. The reported conversations described in a memorandum obtained by the Federalists refer to remarks made at a meeting involving United States District Judge James Boasberg. Now, Boasberg is the guy that told Trump to turn those planes around. You can't do that. Turn them planes around. So, Chief Judge of the U.S. District Court of District of Columbia during a March 2025 gathering of the Judicial Conference, a policy-making body made up of top federal judges. Boasberg reportedly told fellow judges and Chief Justice John Roberts that his colleagues were concerned that the administration would disregard rulings of federal courts leading to a constitutional crisis, according to notes about the meeting obtained by the outlet. So, why would they think that unless they were going to do something so crazy that oh wait, you know what? I just realized I got my damn ads on. 1 second, boys. Let me fix this. Let me solve this problem. Okay, that should be better now. All better. All better. Leading to a constitutional crisis. So why would they do that? Why would they think that would happen? Responding to the leaked notes on Wednesdays, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche described the judge's remarks as a serious breach of the judicial oath and a threat to the rule of law. It could be. I mean, it's almost like these judges were purposely planning on doing things to make Trump have to not listen to them, and so they can scream and cry and say, constitutional crisis, and go run into the, oh, it's a constitutional crisis because Trump won't listen to us. No. This memo confirms that at least some federal judges were predisposed against the Trump administration, Blanche wrote in a post on X. Every litigant, regardless of politics, is entitled to a fair forum. Other senior DOJ officials, including Chad Maisel, called the report very troubling and said it perhaps explains the complete lawless order issued by Judge Boasberg, which was unsurprisingly stayed by the D.C. Circuit. The Judicial Conference meeting was held the week of March 11th when Roberts and roughly 30 federal judges, including Boasberg, gathered in Washington to review policy and administrative issues across the judiciary. A summary of the meeting said Boasberg warned Roberts of possible constitutional friction due to what he anticipated would be Trump's defiance of federal rulings, prompting the Chief Justice to downplay his concerns. So, like, Boasberg knew that he was going to make rulings. Hi, Pam. How you doing? I'm feeling a little bit better. I'm not 100%. I'd say I'm about 80, 85%, but I'm not, I shouldn't be like out of it. Like last night I took some cold medicine, and last night I was like, I don't know if you noticed, I was like, my eyes were closing and stuff. So I'm feeling better. Chief Justice Roberts expressed hope that would not happen, and in turn, no constitutional crisis would materialize. Federals reported from the meeting notes it obtained, which also claimed Roberts said his interactions with the president had been civil and respectful. Boasberg's comments notably came just days before he entered a temporary restraining order on March 15th, instructing the Trump administration to return planes carrying illegal immigrants from Venezuela that were en route to a prison facility in El Salvador. The order was only entered after planes had already departed and the aircraft thus not turned around. Progressive immigration rights groups sued, and the Democrats claimed the Trump administration had defied Boasberg's orders. Wow, almost like they were like they read tea leaves. They used their tarot cards. They looked into the crystal ball and they saw what was going to happen. Boasberg, who was first confirmed under President George W. Bush to the Superior Court of D.C. before former President Barack Obama later nominated him to his current post, came under fire from conservative critics earlier this year when he issued a temporary injunction halting the Trump administration's removal of illegal immigrants to El Salvador under the Alien Enemies Act, a decision later reversed by the Supreme Court. DOJ argued that Boasberg lacked jurisdiction, and his ruling fueled allegations of judicial bias against the administration. Well, I guess the judicial bias would be pretty much self-evident with the statements that he made public to all the judges, basically telling them what they planned on doing. I don't know. Reports about his private comments just days before the ruling aggressively against the Trump administration will likely deepen those criticisms. Well, yeah, I would say so. That's usually what it is when you make comments that are disparaging and you predict things that just happen to take place. It's almost like you planned them or like you forced them to happen, you encouraged them. You like took the stick and poked, like, come on, ignore me. The controversy surrounding Boasberg's handling of the Alien Enemies Act case has surfaced as the Senate Judiciary Committee weighs the nomination of former senior DOJ official Emil Bove to the Third Circuit, where a vote on his nomination is scheduled for Thursday. Bove, who served during the period in question, has been accused by a former DOJ attorney turned leaker of instructing government lawyers to ignore court orders, an allegation Bove firmly denies under oath at his confirmation hearing last month. I've never advised the Department of Justice attorney to violate a court order, Bove testified. The Judicial Conference ordinarily only releases an outline of the meeting called the reports of the proceedings alongside a follow-up interview with press members. The Washington Examiner has not independently verified the meeting notes described in the Federalist Report, and no public reference to this conversation was made following the judicial policymaking body's biannual meeting. So, Still, the allegations stemming from the notes amplify concerns about the political bias among the lower court judges. Currently, 15 active judges serve on the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia. Of those, Democratic presidents appointed 11, and 4 were appointed by Republican presidents, which has fueled some criticism of imbalance in cases handled by the federal district court. What article in the Wall Street Journal, Pam? What's it about? About the article about Trump and to wanting them to release the Epstein stuff? Is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking about this? Washington Examiner contacted Robertson Boasberg for comment. Peter P. Kaplan, Communications and Public Affairs Officer at the Judicial Conference, declined to comment. That's what we got on that. So it looks like maybe Boasberg. I mean, something should happen with Boasberg. I think he should get impeached personally. That's my personal opinion. Removed from office. But, you know, I'm just some guy hitting here telling you what I think on the internet. I'm not anyone spectacular. But yeah, so. All right, let's get off to story number 2, which will be Emil Bove, talking about Emil Bove's nomination. So jump to this. An unprecedented, Norm Eisen says, an unprecedented 75 former federal judges signed on to a letter opposing Bove's nomination. Oh, about Trump's health issue? I'm not. It says really nothing, really. I don't know. Some kind of. He's in his 70s, and he's got some kind of swelling, some kind of vein issue, and I don't know. The Senate must listen to experts. The rule of law is at stake. I explain it. MSNBC. We're going to see what this clown, who basically has been out to get Trump since the first, this guy who's...
Anna, we don't even know if Bove will get
the birthday card
through the Senate because, of course, if the current status quo holds, it does appear that he has the votes. But who's to say, with the drama today, with the attention to this, that more information won't come out between now and the eventual vote? We also don't know what the parliamentarian will do with this. I saw Bove myself because I covered the Trump criminal trial where Donald Trump was convicted despite Bove's efforts. And there was an issue of dishonesty in that trial. I saw something I've never seen before, Anna. The judge felt that Bove misled the jury in examining a witness, and he required Bove the next morning to apologize to the jury. So this pattern is profoundly concerning. At Democracy Defenders, we also worked on that letter. Over 75 federal and state judges. That has never happened before with a judicial nominee. All the red flags are waving here, and hopefully the Congress will do the right thing and not move Bove or others like Jeanine Pirro. They're totally unqualified.
Totally unqualified. Oh, okay. So yeah, this guy's a clown. Totally unqualified. No one likes you. Is that why? Is this like the 51 former intelligence officer who lied about the Hunter Biden laptop? And it says, the moment Democrats walked out of the Senate Judiciary Committee this morning in a temper tantrum over Emil Bove's nomination. Let's see.
Integrity, how could you be doing this? At least have a vote on my point of order. Sir, with all appeals to your decency, with all appeals to your integrity, with all appeals to past jurisdiction and past precedent, why are you doing this? This is outrageous.
This is a kangaroo court. That's what we have here,
This
Mr.
is
Chairman.
wrong. To violate your own rules without going by the mandates of the parliamentarian. This is unbelievable. There's a way to do this. If you want to force this through, if you want to ram this through, there's a way to do it in accordance to the rules as spelled out by the parliamentarian. It is simple. It is clear. There's a pathway to achieve what you're trying to achieve. But, sir, this lacks decency. It lacks decorum. It shows that you do not want to simply hear from your colleagues. This is absolutely wrong. Integrity, how could you be doing this? At least have a vote on...
These Democrats just have no shame, man. No shame whatsoever. It's ridiculous. So everything is at all. It's good flounce by the Democrats. Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm gonna pout and storm out. Yeah. Yeah. My statement on the Senate Judiciary Committee's vote on Emil Bove. The Democrats' childish behavior in the Senate Judiciary Committee meeting showed that they truly have no arguments against Emil Bove, whatever his name is. A bold and fearless defender of the Constitution. Bove has qualifications and temperament for the job and is unafraid to put a stop to illegal and unconstitutional attacks on the executive branch. At his hearing, Emil Bove proved that President Trump has made an excellent choice in his nomination. The left fears Bove because he's effective. The establishment resents him because he doesn't play their game. But the American people need judges like Emil Bove, serious constitutionalists who apply the law as written, stand firm in the face of pressure, and don't bend to a woke mob or media intimidation. As the full Senate prepares to consider his nomination, the choice is clear. Emil Bove has the intellect, the integrity, and the backbone to serve with distinction on the Third Circuit. The Article 3 project urges every senator to confirm a nominee who will defend the Constitution, enforce the rule of law, and never flinch in the face of adversity. Emil Bove deserves a swift and overwhelming confirmation. Yes, he does. Vote for Emil Bove. And any Republicans who don't support him need to be primaried out immediately. So one of the highest Democrat-appointed judge in Brack is not hard to understand why Democrats have no love for the rule of law. Yeah, Democrats saying they're going to halt all judicial confirmations. They don't have the power to halt all judicial confirmations. So let's see. And then briefly, we're going to get into this story. Justice Department fires SCNY prosecutor Maureen Comey, who played key role prosecuting Jeffrey Epstein, and Ghislaine Maxwell and Diddy. Who are the other SCNY prosecutors besides Comey, who prosecuted Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell? The other prosecutors were Allison Moe, Alex Ross Miller, Abigail Kurland, and they were Moe, Laura Pomerantz, Alexander Rohrbach, U.S. attorneys. So we'll see, and get the article here from Politico. Daughter of James Comey. Comey, who had worked in the U.S. Attorney's Office for nearly a decade, prosecuted both Epstein and her associate Ghislaine Maxwell, but she's probably fired for what happened with Diddy. Or, she seems like she was the cleanup person more than the prosecutor. I don't know. Maureen Comey, who prosecuted Epstein and is the former FBI director's daughter, was fired Wednesday from her job in the Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office, according to two people familiar with the matter who were granted anonymity because they were not authorized to speak publicly. The reason for her firing was not immediately clear. She did not immediately respond to phone calls and an email seeking comment. Spokespeople for the Justice Department and the U.S. Attorney's Office declined to comment. Comey, who had worked in the U.S. Attorney's Office for nearly a decade, prosecuted both Epstein and his associate Maxwell. In recent weeks, Trump and Pam Bondi have faced a firestorm of criticism over the decision not to release additional files related to Epstein, the disgraced financier who accused of running a child sex trafficking ring. But who was she trafficking to? That's the thing. Like, where are these files? Did she get rid of files? Was that her job, was to dump files and bury stuff for her father? Prosecutors in the Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office, including Comey, charged Epstein in 2019 with sex trafficking minors. He died of suicide in a jail cell, awaiting trial on those charges. Maxwell was convicted of sex trafficking and sentenced to 20 years in prison. She appealed her conviction. Comey's firing also comes as the Trump administration reportedly investigated her father, whom Trump has long reviled. Investigations apparently relate to Comey's role in the probe of links between Trump's 2016 campaign in Russia, as well as recent Instagram posts that Comey made about Trump that they saw as a threatening to kill Trump. In recent months, Comey has been the target of renewed attacks by voices in Trump's right-wing banks, including Laura Loomer, who called for Bondi to fire her in May. More recently, Loomer has been leading the MAGA base's outcry over the Justice Department's decision not to release further Epstein-related documents. And I think Comey came out and said previously that they couldn't release documents while the appeal was ongoing with Ghislaine Maxwell. Maureen Comey was given no explanation, according to a third person familiar with the matter who was not authorized to discuss it publicly. That person also said the decision to fire her did not come from the office's interim U.S. Attorney, Jay Clayton, meaning it was likely made by someone at the Justice Department's headquarters, probably. Marion Comey's job title at the U.S. Attorney's Office was Senior Trial Counsel. Most recently, she was part of the team that prosecuted Sean Diddy Combs and got their ass handed to them by Brian Steele, the pimp, which failed to win a conviction on the most serious charges. The firing is the latest episode to rock the Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office, formerly known as the Southern District of New York. Earlier this year, the acting U.S. Attorney and several other prosecutors resigned in protest after the DOJ ordered the office to abandon the corruption prosecution of the New York City Mayor Eric Adams. They were mad that they didn't get to pursue their political prosecution of Eric Adams. Oh well. And on Wednesday evening, prosecutors in the office, still shaken but by that tumult, rallied around Comey with dozens of them banding together to escort her out of the office for the last time. Yeah, all those people doing the stuff that keep doing this, they did it. That just proves that they all should be fired. They don't, they're not there to do a job. They're there. It's part of a cult. Fire them all. Fire them all. You're all fired. Get rid of them all. Yeah, it's very odd that this one prosecutor's on all these high-profile cases, isn't it? And weird. Weird. Then jumping to the next story here, we have who will Trump's power move? Who will he pick to run the Fed? Powell's history is just a matter of when. People are begging for the job, Trump says, and it's one of the most powerful seats on earth. Let's break down who's likely to lead the Fed. Trump just called Jerome Powell a disaster. He says the Fed chair job is the easiest in government if you're not a dummy. And while he might not fire Powell before 2026, he's already narrowing the field.
Fed Chair Powell to step down and make way for someone who will finally lower interest rates. Hassett says White House is looking into their authority to do that. Okay, so, Tom, these guys think the economy is pretty strong, like you.
Yep.
And they say, for that reason, unlike you, why are you all talking about interest rate cuts?
Yeah, I think a couple of things. One is you've got 16% of GDP is housing related, and those are the high paying jobs. Number two, the biggest portion of our population is the millennials, and their ability to start their lives, housing and family formation has now been delayed by 5 years unnecessarily by this policy. And number three, like everyone at this table, we pay a lot of taxes, and those taxes.
Yeah, we pay a lot of taxes. Why does it matter? Powell artificially cut rates to boost the Democrats last year and is now keeping them artificially high to hurt Trump. It kind of seems like he's playing politics with the interest rates. So that's like, well, this is independence? No, it's not. It seems like he's playing politics. 1/3 of the federal debt must be refinanced this year. That the difference between 4.5% and 1.5% is staggering. Shortlist: Kevin Hassett, tax warrior, NEC chief; Michelle Bowman, pro-rate cuts, anti-regulation; Kevin Ward, Fed crisis veteran; Chris Waller, prior Trump candidate; Scott Bessent, brilliant Treasury Secretary; Larry Kudlow, America's first economic guru. America First economic guru, not America's First. Kevin Hassett, architect of Trump tax cut, loyal, sharp, battle-tested. Trump says Kevin is fantastic. He knows trade, inflation, and growth. He'd be hard to beat. Michelle Bowman, current Fed vice chair, she broke with Powell and called for rate cuts, pro-bank, pro-growth, and anti-red tape. She also knows how to clean house. Could be the second woman ever to lead the Fed, and if Trump removed Powell as the chair, she could move up now. I don't know. She kind of looks. Kevin Warsh, Wall Street favorite, Bush era Fed governor. Trump almost picked him last time. Knows the system from the inside and how to beat it. He could steady the markets while ending the woke Fed mission creep. Maybe. I don't know. I don't trust the look. Scott Bessent, the brilliant Treasury Secretary. Bessent is a hedge fund genius turned MAGA warrior. The only real knock on him is that he's an excellent Treasury Secretary, but Howard Lutnick could easily take that place. Yeah, that woman has a Comey look to her. Not this guy. Guy looks like a villain from like Harry Potter, though. Chris Waller, the academic Trump handpicked for the Fed in 2020. Waller has previously said he's in favor of cutting rates in order to prevent a negative impact on the nation's labor market. Okay. And the dark horse is Larry Kudlow. Trump's first-term National Economic Council chair is a full-on conservative guru. Not only would MAGA cheer, the economy would soar. I don't know. Larry Kudlow, I don't know. Change is coming. The form of change is uncertain, but Trump has a lot of great options, and the Fed badly needs reform. Well, it does need reform. Maybe not spending so much money on our renovations would be good, too. There's that. And then there's this. This is troubling. Very troubling news. Very troubling news. Very upsetting. I think there has to be a bunch of primaries coming. Has to be primaries coming because we've got a bunch of rhinos running around doing crap like this. The soft amnesty bill has been filed and has support of several House Republicans. It would allow illegal aliens who cross the border before 2021 a pathway to stay and work here illegally. No, no, no. They all must go. No, no, no. No, no, no. No, no, no. They all must go. They can get up to 7 years of legal status with work authorization. No, no, no. They need to pay restitution and check in regular with the IRS. No, no, no. And legal status can be renewed if there's good conduct. No, no, no. No, no, no. The Republicans who have signed on is Don Bacon, Mario Diaz-Balart, Gabe Evans, Brian Fitzpatrick, Mike Kelly, Young Kim, Michael Lawler, Dan Newhouse, Marlon A. Stutzman, and David G. Valadio. Wait, there's one more. There's one more on here. There's another woman that's on here. Salazar. Salazar is also on the list. She's not on here, though. Where's Salazar? She get off the list? Absolutely not. No amnesty. You don't reward law breaking with stuff. That's right. And and here we go. See, here she is. New Representative Maria Salazar from Florida is yelling in Spanish at President Trump outside the Capitol, attempting to force him to give amnesty to illegals. Man, we're going to have a lot of primarying to do in 2026. That's right. Salazar's about to get absolutely destroyed. Right. Destroyed. You know D-Story? You know D-Story?
Señor presidente, el mismo Dios que se lo salvó a usted de la muerte en Pensilvania hace solamente
Muerta.
y que le puso de vuelta en la oficina oval en contra de todo pronóstico. Es el mismo Dios
Chúpeme bolos, pendejo.
al que millones y millones están rogando hoy por dignidad, no por amnistía. Señor presidente, yo sé que usted puede ser para inmigración lo que Lincoln fue para la esclavitud y Reagan para el comunismo. Usted es un hombre de negocios que entiende que nuestra economía necesita una fuerza laboral
¿Le plomo o plata?
Donde otros estadounidenses no quieren participar. Usted detuvo a Irán en seco, evitó que China siguiera robándose nuestros trabajos. Le quitó oxígeno económico a Maduro y firmó la ley del BBB el día en que usted quiso y usted decidió. Por eso yo sé y yo creo que usted ha sido llamado para esto, para solucionar este problema de 40 años con una sola firma, la suya. La dignidad humana es uno de los 7 pilares del...
Well, I don't speak taco, so I'm going to shut this off. This is the last thing we need right now. A Republican talking about amnesty. Our entire messaging right now is goblin posting about ICE so that people self-deport. I'll bet money that this dissuades many to stick it out and see if they can get amnesty. She's afraid Trump's going to deport all the illegals in her district and she'll lose her seat. Maybe, but I read the bill. It's more than you might realize. The new soft amnesty bill is not soft at all. It's blanket amnesty wrapped in poll-tested ribbon. Instant and illegal aliens so much as files. The paperwork, ICE is ordered to stand down. No arrests, no removals, no questions asked. A single filing also spits out a work permit and travel papers. And once the bureaucracy rubber stamps the application, DHS hands over 7 years deferred action shield that keeps a holder untouchable longer than the court today's backlog itself. In plain English, if you can't deport anyone who mails in the form, you don't have an immigration law. You have open borders. Hell no. Kill the bill. That's right. Nope. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Kill the bill. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Kill the bill. All rhinos must be killed immediately. Destroy it. All the favorite rhinos. Yep, gotta get rid of them. Yeah, that's bad. So you're gonna have to everybody contact your congressman and tell them ain't no way. No. No. Not at all. No. And then we got these three clowns. We got this. Why won't Laura G. Ross, Thomas E. Rothman, and Diane Kaplan accept that President Trump has fired them from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting? Why won't they listen to the judge telling them to go home? The fact that they're following the Democrat playbook to obstruct and delay the president at every turn. Imagine how many more federal workers are doing the same thing, only less conspicuously. Trump fired these three, and they refuse to leave, and they're pretending they still have jobs, and they don't. The Justice Department files a complaint against the board members and tells them to get out. Let's see if they listen. Yeah, that would make a good wall trophy, wouldn't it? A good mount. No such thing as a private corporation that the government funds. Yesterday, PBS aired 2 one-hour segments devoted to trashing President Trump. There was not one mention of his success in business or in life. Some time ago, there was a segment devoted to former first ladies. They went back as far as Eleanor Roosevelt and did not mention Melania Trump. In fact, I don't think the PBS knows Melania Trump. There's no point in arguing with Democrats that run PBS. Pulling the plug is the only solution. Yeah, get rid of them. It got to go. Now, all of this is manifestly unlawful. U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro sues to oust board members who usurped their former office after Trump's firing. The U.S. Department of Justice on Tuesday, in a lawsuit brought by a former Fox News host and interim U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro, has asked a federal judge to find that 3 Corporation for Public Broadcasting, CBP, board members fired by President Trump via email months ago have nonetheless continued working and usurped their former offices without lawful authority. Known as a quo warranto action, a legal maneuver aimed at challenging a person's right to hold a public office or corporate office, the DOJ suit aims to have the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia declare that Diane Kaplan, Laura G. Ross, and Thomas E. Rothman should be ousted from their board of directors' offices. President Trump's lawfully removed each defendant from office on April 28th. The recent Supreme Court orders have recognized the president cannot meaningfully exercise his executive power under Article 2 without the power to select and, when necessary, remove those who hold federal office. Personnel is policy, after all. Sue cast Kaplan, Ross, and Rothman as defiant and carrying on at work despite failing to persuade a federal judge last month to declare that the purported firings by email were of no legal effect. Despite the court's denial of their request for preliminary relief, defendants have continued to usurp the office of board member of the CPB, including by participating in board meetings, voting on resolutions, and other business that comes before the board, and presenting themselves to the public as board members. All of this is manifestly unlawful. While Kaplan and Rothman were appointed by then-President Joe Biden, Ross was appointed by Trump his first term and then again by Biden. All 3 were confirmed by the Senate, as the Public Broadcasting Act of 1967 requires. There are 9 board members total. No more than 5 could be appointed by the president, maybe members of the same political party. Under the law, the board members are not officers or employees of the United States. Firings brought a number of active board members to CBP filed a lawsuit claiming Trump had no power to remove or terminate them. One sweeping act of executive overreach. The suit sought to restrain the order. It was later treated as a preliminary injunction, but a federal judge, not convinced at the stage Trump lacked the authority to remove the board members, ruled in June that the plaintiffs failed to carry their burden of demonstrating that they are likely to prevail on the merits of their claim for injunctive relief. Or that the plaintiffs were going to suffer irreparable harm, absence of injunction. U.S. District Judge Randy Moss. Wow, that's Randy Moss. I wonder if he's not the football player Randolph Moss. Randy Moss. That's funny. At the time, although Congress made clear it intended the board of directors' performance duties outside of government, without government or political influence, the board could still function with 2 members. And an important question regards the status of the corporation and its relations to the federal government would have to be answered on another day. Much of the party's briefing focused on the questions of whether the corporation is a governmental or private entity. The question may have some bearing for later rounds, Moss wrote. At this point, however, the court is not persuaded that the plaintiffs are entitled to prevail on the merits, even if the corporation is, in relevant respects, private, nonprofit corporation that Congress intended to insulate from government interference. If it gets its funding from the Congress, it's not insulated from government interference, and it does get its funding from the Congress. Though he denied preliminary injunction, the judge did so without prejudice, meaning CBP could file again in the event that defendants or those acting in concert with them take steps to interfere with the independence of the corporation. Now that DOJ is forcing the issue, asking in a new case against Kaplan, Ross, and Rothman, the boards be officially ousted, that their pay from April 28th to present be ordered returned. Any official board action they take can be declared null and void. And sure, defendants are finally acting as if the court granted the relief the court denied. Raising the question of why they bothered to seek preliminary relief and consume the resources of the court with parties if they were simply going to ignore any adverse ruling. The United States cannot just stand by when lawful orders, both executive and judicial, are being so openly flaunted. Latest entry on Moth's docket is June 29th. Shows the judge set an expedited briefing schedule for summary judgment in the CBP case. CBP did not immediately respond to Warren Crime's request for comment. We'll have to see. Maybe the judge will split the baby and say, well, I'm not going to do anything in any of these. You guys sort it out. I don't know. And this is a crazy story. I saw this and I have to talk about this. This is nuts. This is breaking. Mel Witherspoon, Democrat City Council President for Erie City, Pennsylvania, just claimed that he shot a man in the head when he was 17 and got away with it because of mafia ties and connections. Yeah. He says, I shot him in the head point blank. I stayed in jail one night, never went to court, and the family, mafia, made a call, and I was out the next day. Well, let's listen to him in his own words.
You didn't see me at the rally, and nor did you see me at the funeral, because it brought some things back to me that I thought was gone. I lost a brother in Jersey City, shot with a double-barrel shotgun, close range. I'm 17. I'm involved with a gang, the largest gang in Newark, New Jersey. I organized. We went over Jersey City looking for the person. Well, when we got there, we didn't realize it was a family. And when you talk Jersey City and you talk family, you're talking the mafia. At the time of my graduation from high school, I had to leave Newark, New Jersey. I had to leave a mom and a dad, or I wouldn't be here today. So I'm living that side. It was 2 days in Nebraska where I went to school. You can go buy a gun, no paper necessary. I played football and basketball, and the tackle, good guy, nice guy. And the guys came to my room, and we got high. They left. I had the clip in my gun. Nick came in my room. I said, you know, Nick, I can blow your head off. He said, go ahead. And I did. I shot him in the head point blank, this close.
Now, if this guy does not get immediately arrested, if this story is true at all, any factual basis, he just confessed on camera to murdering someone. And there is no statute of limitations on murder. None. Zero. Zilch. Zilch. 000 statute of limitations on murder. Nope. And it sounds like this happened in Nebraska. Unless I'm mistaken. So maybe Nebraska, some college. I don't know. Let's continue. Let's continue.
I stayed in jail one night. I never went to court. I went back to basketball. How did that happen? because I had a family member, one of my uncles. He was involved with one of the families. That family made a call from Newark to New York to Omaha to Nebraska, where I was at, and I was out the next day. See, so that's having the right contact at the right time. My point is, when my son told me about Cello, it all came back.
All right. Well, I hope he's got a good lawyer, and I hope the feds are looking into this, because it sure sounds like there was some corruption and something that's federal in here with phone calls being made to Mafia and RICO and other things. And, well, somebody needs to go talk to him and get it on paper, and he needs to go to jail. That's it. He confessed to murder. Sorry. He got to go. Gots to go to jail. Bombshell. Biden cover-up may drag Jill into Congress. The House oversight probe into Joe's mental decline just escalated. Comer and Donalds aren't playing games. They're putting everyone on notice. Here's what happened. Dun, 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 dun. Chairman James Comer says nothing is off the table, including compelling Joe and Jill to testify. Every option's on the table, he says. The Oversight Committee wants to know who covered for Joe. Was the public lied to? Who was really in charge? Byron Donalds took it further. As far as I'm concerned, every member of the Biden administration needs to be subpoenaed. I don't care if they were secretary or janitor, if they cleaned toilets or cleaned his clock. I want to know. Yet explicitly said Jill Biden must testify too. Yeah, he did kind of make it sound like two different places, so I don't know. But I'm sure that's not the last we're going to hear of that story. That's all I'm saying. Somebody's going to have to wait, what? And they're going to have to start going back and looking and going, what happened here? Why Jill? Because her chief of staff, Anthony Bernal, her right-hand man, just came in under subpoena and pled the fifth. Let that sink in. The guy pled the fifth. Fifth. He said, I take the fifth. That's what he said. Fifth. He said, that's what he said. All hat, no cattle. Yep. Anyway, a top White House aide won't answer any questions about the president's capacity to serve. That's crazy. Bernal is now the fourth top Biden aide subpoena. He's not alone. Right. Dr. Kevin O'Connor, his physician, pled the fifth. Annie Tomasini, ex-chief of staff, was subpoenaed too. What are they hiding? We know what they hide. Comer is now probing. He's probing deep. Whether Biden's decline was covered up. Whether staff made key decisions in his name. Whether executive orders were signed via auto pen without Joe's knowledge. Maybe. Could be. Possibly. It's unprecedented and potentially criminal. May also void some of Biden's acts. Could void some acts. Senate hearing on Biden's mental acuity coming up soon. Joe Biden told New York Times, I made every decision on my own. I know everything. I'm a big boy. They told me I could have 2 scoops. But even the New York Times pointed out that he didn't. In fact, he gave verbal assent to some of the pardons and wasn't even aware of all of them. What else did others do in his name? What did they do? There's a word for that. We call it forgery down here, these parts. If Jill Biden knew her husband wasn't fit for office and helped to hide it, she broke the law. She needs to pay. She may be more than first lady. She may be first conspiratorist in the criminal enterprise to hide Biden's descent into madness. She may well be the key witness to the biggest political scandal since Watergate, possibly the greatest, keyest conspirator of all. And now Congress wants answers. That's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anthony Bernal, Jill's chief of staff, just invoked the Fifth Amendment during his congressional deposition. This week new reporting confirms President Biden's aides took unauthorized executive actions during his presidency amid his cognitive decline. It's no surprise that Anthony Bernal is pleading the Fifth to shield himself from criminal liability. During his deposition, Bernal pleaded the Fifth when asked if unelected officials or family members executed the duties of president, and if Joe Biden ever instructed him to lie about his health. This is a historic scandal, and Americans demand transparency and accountability. We will continue to pursue the truth on behalf and examine options to get answers we need. Special counsel, yes, that's right. Democrats do not take Republicans seriously because they know their efforts will only lead to strongly worded letters. It's usually what happens. I'm not surprised. Joe Biden's aide pleads the Fifth. Mm-hmm. How many times did Trump plead the Fifth in court until now? This piece of shit pleads the Fifth. 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 Fifth.
Mr. Bernal, did you ever advise President Joe Biden to pardon his son, Hunter Biden?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
Thank you. We're going to go off the record real quick. Okay, we'll go back on the record. Mr. Bernal, was President Joe Biden fit to exercise the duties of the president?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
Let the record reflect that Mr. Bernal has invoked the Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. Mr. Bernal, please be very clear. Are you declining to answer the question put to you solely on the ground that you believe the answer will incriminate you?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
Mr. Bernal, did any unelected official or family member of President Joe Biden execute the duties of the presidency?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
Let the record reflect that Mr. Bernal has invoked the Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. Mr. Bernal, please be very clear. Are you declining to answer the question put to you solely on the ground that you believe the answer will incriminate you?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
Mr. Bernal, did President Joe Biden ever instruct you to lie regarding his health at any time, including but not limited in your testimony to Congress today?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
Let the record reflect that Mr. Bernal has invoked the Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination.
Wow.
Mr. Bernal, please be very clear. Are you declining to answer the question put to you solely on the ground that you believe?
Okay, this is a waste of time to listen to, so we'll just jump. So let's just say this, Joe Biden's work husband takes the Fifth in GOP probe of Biden's health cover-up. Yeah. Joe Biden's work husband, became a second former White House aide to take the Fifth. So he took the Fifth, the doctor took the Fifth. So a bunch of people taking the Fifth. Take the Fifth. Biff, 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 biff. So yeah, so there's that. Well, there's that. And, so what do we think about that? Well, unless somebody cracks and breaks their silence, I don't think anyone's going to get caught up. So let's jump to the next story. This is like a thought experiment that I like to go through with everybody. It's considered the following. You're on an airplane traveling through space, time and space. You've entered the Twilight Zone. No, just kidding. Say I'm going to come to your hometown with my retired DOJ ID and bring along a retired FBI friend of mine. We're going to go to the principal and the teachers at the school where your kids attend, and we're going to tell them that you're a pedophile. We can't tell them how we know this. We just want them to know that we know all about you. And we can't tell them how we know, but we know. And we know this is true. Then we're going to attend Sunday service at the church, and we're going to say the same thing to all them and the parishioners and just tell them, we can't tell you how we know or why, but, be careful. That guy's a pedophile. Tell all your friends and neighbors. Then we're going to attend a morning meeting of the Optimist Club where you're a member and repeat what we know about you and tell them, sure, that we got this information. It's government records. They can't see it, but it's there. We promise. And then we'll go to the VP of the personnel, your company you work for, or your senior manager, and supervise close to 100 people. And they're going to learn the same information and tell them everything. So we know it. We can't show you the information, but we know it's true. And then we're going to leave town and never return. You can go about try to repair your reputation in the community. How do you think that would go? That's what innocent people whose names are contained in the Epstein files would face if they were just open to the public scrutiny. No. I did not think of it like this until I read this. And after I read this, and I said, whoa, wait a minute. That would be kind of fucked up. But what about the people who are truly predators, though, whose names get out there? Wouldn't that help? I mean, I know the whole thing about, you'd rather 100 guilty people go free than one innocent person suffer, but I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just a thought experiment. So one of the things, because this guy says it's a lot like what the feds and media did to the J6ers. They called us traitors, insurrectionists over and over, shouted from every rooftop, canvassed our neighborhoods, and slapped us with overly severe sentences, and then went back to the office and left us to clean up. Many J6ers are still struggling to get back on their feet. And this guy says, strong man argument. I understand that many have repeated the demand to just post the list, but it is clear that what they actually mean is post materials that visibly identify pedophile perpetrators and will allow them to be legally punished. It could be as simple as still images with the victims largely obscured, but the pedo clearly identified. If evidence of identity is not readily available, evident in a particular piece of evidence, it should be published with no name should be connected to it. When Trump is targeted, FBI DOJ drops all pretense and leaks, prints misleading photos as media cutouts, creates false narrative, colludes with current and former IC officials to manipulate public opinion, hides evidence and outright lies. His associates ruined and imprisoned, but Epstein associates kid gloves. And that's before we address what's been done to the J6ers. People are rightly questioning the double standard. Ship will say nothing doesn't make it right. No, it doesn't. But what's happening now isn't justice either. Yeah, something needs to change. Something needs to change. All right, we're going to move on to the next story. We got holy smokes. A Louisiana subway owner, Chandrakot Patel, was arrested by feds for immigration fraud for getting hundreds of Indian nationals visas in a decades-long scheme. I'd Patriot Pete, I would like the Epstein files to be released. I really would. I think they should be released. Patel would pay police officers $5,000 a pop to create fake reports of armed robbery in order for individuals to qualify for special U visas reserved for victims of crime. Wow. That's nuts. Sorry. Check Trump new truth. I would have to look at that. I don't know. Or Bonnie's tweets on X. Okay, hold on. Jesus. Mm-hmm. Oh, so okay. So this is what you're talking about, that Bondi says they're going to seal the court records. Breaking news. Based on a ridiculous, yeah, Trump, I saw this. And so Bonnie's saying she wants to move to unseal the transcripts. Okay. But we're back to the story. Back to the story. We're good. You know, so Patel would then be reimbursed once the visas were issued. Let's listen to this. This is some crazy stuff here, boys and gals.
Multiple police officials and a businessman were arrested, accused of running an immigration fraud scheme.
Investigators say that scheme led to hundreds of foreign nationals illegally getting visas. News 2's Alexis Maroney breaks down how this case is unfolding.
Investigators say they don't want the public's trust to waver. Instead, they say the arrest should show their dedication to statewide transparency. Last summer, investigators started tracking what seemed like a high number of armed robberies.
I've never seen anything quite like this.
Many of the victims listed were not from Louisiana.
In fact, the armed robberies never took place, and those listed in the applications were never victims of crime.
According to arrest documents, for 10 years, false police reports were being made by this group of police officials. Oakdale Police Chief Chad Doyle, Marshal Mike Slaney, Forest Hill Police Chief Glenn Dixon, and former Glenmora Police Chief Tebow Onicia.
99.9% of law enforcement is good. We do a great job. We go to work every day. We get up. We do what we're supposed to do. For whatever reason, the lure of money or whatever it is that leads them to do the wrong thing, don't do it.
The fake reports were used by foreign nationals to apply for U visas, a type of visa reserved for victims of crimes. In this case, crimes that never happened.
False visas can facilitate illegal activities in the United States, including financial crime, crimes of violence, narcotics, human trafficking, etc.
The indictment says the owner of a Subway in Oakdale, Chandrakant Patel, paid the officers $5,000 for each false report.
We expect law enforcement officers to protect the public and to honor their trust, not to sell that trust and the honor of their badges for personal gain.
After collecting years of evidence, investigators made 2 arrests at the Crowne Plaza Hotel while they were attending a police chief's conference. The group is facing dozens of counts, including mail fraud, money laundering, and conspiracy to commit visa fraud, and more charges are possible. Court dates for the individuals have not been set just yet, but I'm being told court appearances will happen in Alexandria. In the newsroom, Alexis Maroney, WBRZ News 2.
Oh, I hope they throw the book at him, literally. Mm-hmm. This is the guy that owns the Subway who's bringing in a bunch of Vegets to fraudulently and letting them stay here. This happens in IT like crazy, especially in state governments that are obsessed with MBE business spend. One guy gets a job as a developer and then requests they hire like 5 more people for the team, and they hire whoever they say and they take the cut. Yeah. By the way, they do have a picture of all the officers. They left out the ones who do so. Anyway, you got another scamming Indian, a.k.a. Kamala Vivek, South Indian. Every foreigner who got a U visa should be deported and barred from ever coming to America. Be nice. Here's the thing, man. Louisiana police chiefs took bribes to help foreign nationals get visas, feds say. That that message, I don't know. It was a typed message. I don't know, man. I don't buy that. If that was true, that would have came out long ago, man. Come on. That's all. Group of Louisiana police chiefs and a marshal and a subway shop operator worked together for nearly a decade to create fake police reports so hundreds of people could apply for visas designated for victims of crimes. Officials allege in an indictment. Subway, the restaurant, yeah. Law enforcement official and a shop owner who also owns local convenience stores, were charged with 62 counts in a federal grand jury indictment revealed July 16th. The charges include conspiracy, immigration fraud, robbery, mail fraud, money laundering. Acting U.S. Attorney for the Western District of Louisiana, Alexander C. Van Hook, said the 5 alleged co-conspirators were arrested on July 15th without incident. Since at least 2015, people seeking so-called U visas would pay Shangarkat Lala Patel, the subway operator and convenience store owner, thousands of dollars to help them fraudulently attain status in the United States. Van Hook said Patel would then pay the law enforcement officials to name them in fake police reports stating that they were victims of armed robbery so they would qualify for the visas. What the hell, man? Yeah, we expect law enforcement officers to protect the public and honor the trust, not sell the trust and the honor of their badges for personal gain. Oh, well. Van Hook that said while the defendants involved in law enforcement were corrupt, the public had no reason to be concerned about remaining law enforcement officers in their community. We're not alleging these corrupt police departments. These are corrupt police departments. Well, who was involved in the fraud? Prosecutors say 4 central Louisiana law enforcement officials and a business owner were all charged in a fraudulent visa scheme. I mean, I bet you for the cops, they were like, what, I'm going to get paid just to fill out a police report for a crime that didn't happen? They probably didn't think it was that big deal, but it is. It was, defrauding the federal government. Chandrakat Lala Patel of Oakdale, Louisiana. Chad Doyle, Chief of Police for City of Oakdale, Louisiana. Michael Freck Slaney, Marshal of Ward 5 Marshal's Office in Oakdale, Louisiana. Glenn Dixon, Chief of Police for the City of Forest Hill, Louisiana. Thibault Onishe, former Chief of Police for the City of Glenmora, Louisiana. So these were probably all like small towns with very small police forces, and he talked to the police chiefs, and so that's probably why I was able to get away with it. Yeah, for so long, because it wasn't like very, very busy. It wasn't a lot of cops. If they are convicted, defendants could face up to 5 years in prison for conspiracy, 10 years for visa fraud, and 20 years for mail fraud. Patel also faces up to 10 years for bribery. They could also be ordered to pay a fine of up to $250K for each count. Not immediately clear if any defendants had attorneys. I'm sure they do. Well, at least public defenders at a minimum. On July 17th, Louisiana State Police announced that the wife of Chad Doyle, Allison Doyle, who'd also been arrested and charged with 2 counts of malfeasance in office. State Police attorney Allison Doyle, 50, a former employee of City of Oakdale, unethical conduct in the municipal property bidding process. Oh, so they were fixing bids too? They were bid rigging too? Well, there's a bunch of corruption going on there. Was a mob running it down there? No, it's not clear if Allison Doyle's charges are related to the fraudulent visa scheme. State police allege she conspired with Patel to manipulate the bidding process for 2 city-owned properties. Following her arrest, she was booked into the Allen Parish Sheriff's Office jail. How did the visa schemes unfold? A U visa confers what's known as U non-immigrant status, which is granted to the victims of certain crimes and their family members to allow them to remain in the U.S. while authorities investigate or prosecute crimes. The country issues a maximum of 10,000 U visas annually and can create a wait list if more applicants are really received, according to the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. Over the last decade, hundreds of visas went to people involved in the scheme in Louisiana, Van Hook said. When I'm saying there's hundreds of names, those visas were approved, we focus on the ones that were approved. Foreign nationals seeking the visa would contact Patel or someone else who would contact Patel for them and paid Patel thousands of dollars. Patel would then pay the law enforcement official $5,000 per person to be named as the victims of the armed robberies and police reports. Foreign nationals would then use the police reports as evidence that would qualify them for the U visa status. In fact, their armed robberies never took place, and those listed in the applications were never victims of crime. Patel himself also received the U visa in 2023 after he said he was a victim of armed robbery, according to the indictment. There was also an unusual concentration of reports of armed robberies with victims who were not from Louisiana. Van Hook said federal authorities have been investigating since last year. Yeah, so these idiots had a bunch of people from India all getting robbed in Louisiana for armed robbery, and then they all applied for U visas. It probably wasn't that hard to figure it out. In February, Patel approached a member of the Rapides Parish Sheriff's Office and paid or offered to pay $5,000 in exchange for another fake police report, prosecutors say in a statement. The Rapides Parish Sheriff's Office has been working with federal officials in the investigation, and the fraudulent report was never put to use. It's not clear whether authorities will take action against the people who obtained the visas through the scheme, a spokesman for the U.S. Attorney's Office. Well, I would hope so. If somebody paid money, wait a minute. Somebody paid money to fraudulently get a visa through the scheme, they should lose the visa immediately and be deported post haste, if not charged with a crime. I mean, what are we doing here? They broke the law. I mean, just makes sense. Here's the government breakdown of the story here. United States Customs and Immigration Service uncovers a U visa fraud scheme by corrupt law enforcement, leading to federal indictments by Louisiana man, including 4 active and former law enforcement officers, indicted Wednesday on charge of bribery, conspiracy, committing basic fraud, mail fraud, found a federal investigation today by U.S. Citizens and Immigration Services. Fraud detection officers uncovered violent pattern of inconsistencies among U applications from spurring the milk to legal federal investigation. That was my best Louisiana accent. That's not very good, so I'm going to stop now. The 62-count indictment describes the defendants and others more than 9.5 years alleged scheme. How could it be a 9.5 years alleged scheme if that guy, Chandrakant, whatever his name is, just got his view visa in 2023? Someone else must have been involved, right? Because it says Chandrakant Patel, AKA la 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 la. Yeah, I'm just funning. Just funning. I'm still on the Dayquil. Yeah. Patel, Doyle, Slaney, Dixon, and Onashe conspired together to commit visa fraud, namely a non-immigrant U visa, which defendants knew would be procured by means of false claims and statements and otherwise procured by fraud and unlawful obtained by the defendants. If convicted, they could each sentence of 5 years in prison and up to 10 years on the visa fraud, 5 years for the conspiracy, 10 years on the visa fraud, and 20 years on the mail fraud. Ooh, dilly. Ooh, dilly dilly. So you're 20, 30, 35, man. Ooh. My speed is on 0.5. Should I go faster? I need to turn it up a little. The indictment alleges as part of this conspiracy to defraud the government aliens seeking U visas would contact Patel and other facilitators who would then contact Patel and name the victims of the police reports alleging that the odd robberies would occur and they would apply for U visas, and any of it is alleged the aliens paid Patel thousands of dollars to participate in exchange for Patel to co-conspirators including Doyle, Slayton, Dixon, O'Shea. Patel would ask his co-conspirators, including them, to write false police reports. Yeah, we should read all this. The indictment also alleged Patel gave, offered, or agreed to pay an agent at the Rapides Parish Sheriff's Office a sum of $5,000 on February 18th, intending to influence or reward that agent in exchange for a fraudulent police report. The case has been investigated and prosecuted by a Homeland Security Task Force as part of Operation Take Back America. That's right, Take Back America. Take Back America. Protecting the integrity of the immigration process is a priority for UCIC-CISCS. To report suspected immigration benefit fraud, please, or abuse. Use UCSCICSCSC tip form. Put it to tip, just a tip. Put the tip in, just a tip, and they'll get busy with the tip. Yes, they will. What's the NyQuil blues? Is that someone who takes NyQuil and sings the blues? I'm drinking some NyQuil. Makes me real sad. I'll drink some NyQuil. Makes me so sad. I sing the blues. Oh, we have some good stuff here. We have some testimony in Congress. This is Julio Rose. This is the end of an opening statement to the House Homeland Security Committee. The outrage from Democrats is because they don't want to lose their cheap labor and maintain their standard of living. They simply view Latinos as an underclass. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It might get wild if that happens tonight. If I end up having to go longer than 2 hours, it might get weird. Yeah. Let's see what Julio Rosas has to say. Mr. Rosas. Mr. Rosas. Julio Rosas.
I can tell you that while Americans are happy the border crisis is finally over, they want to see accountability, and I believe Congress can make that accountability happen should you decide to act. And since I have a little bit of time left, I want to say I'm here testifying today as a proud Latino, but most importantly, I'm here as an American citizen. This is my country, this is my home, this is where I grew up in. And that is why the rhetoric coming from one side of the aisle about these operations saying, no, we got to keep our cheap labor so that we can maintain our standard of living proves that they want to view Latinos simply as a underclass to siphon votes from and fearmonger from every time that there's an election. They're content with keeping us as that servant underclass, and that is why it is disgusting to see them criticize that recent raid in Ventura County where they found unaccompanied minors working alongside convicted sex offenders at a cannabis farm. No, we got to keep them there because or else how else are we going to get high if we can't have unaccompanied minors harvest our weed? It's quite frankly despicable.
Despicable.
I can tell you that while Americans are happy the border crisis is finally over, they want to see accountability, and I believe Congress can make that accountability happen should you decide to act. And since I have a little bit of time left, I want to say I'm here testifying today as a proud Latino, but most importantly, I'm here as an American.
Oh wait, that replayed. So yeah, Julio don't play. What's this?
Trim the budget, they start screaming that the sky is falling. Now, don't get me wrong, I admire their consistency. You ever notice how every time a Republican takes office, the Democrats start acting like it's the end of the world? I mean, the minute we cut taxes or trim the budget, they start screaming that the sky is falling. Now, don't get me wrong, I admire their consistency. If the stock market surges, You ever notice how every time a Republican takes office, what happens under Republican leadership? And don't even get me started on foreign policy. A Republican president could be shaking hands with world leaders and signing peace deals, and they'd say, it must be appeasement. But the minute there's tension overseas, they rush to the nearest camera like it's Black Friday saying, see, we told you the world would catch fire if...
Oh, that's just crazy talk. Crazy. Democrats love to condemn such a group of people over and over again. Thank you for your bravery. Democrats will not villainize you for telling the truth. That's right. Okay. And here we got some more crazy talk. More Democrat rhetoric is being spewed in Congress today. This is why assaults on ICE agents are up over 80%. Eric Swalwell, who farts on camera and sleeps with Chinese spies, says that he's begging for an ICE agent to get hurt because he has no other substance. He has to stop now. Look at this crap. Let's listen to this clown.
And these ICE agents running around our communities like masked bank robbers, terrorizing women, they're going to get themselves hurt, and I hope that doesn't happen. And we're already seeing women are being targeted by people who are impersonating ICE agents. I hope every state that is able to, and every community that is able to, unmasks ICE with their policies. If you're standing on the law, you can show your face. The FBI, they're probably doing a search and seizure right now at some dangerous criminal's home. They're not masked. They loudly, on their blue jackets, have that yellow insignia that says FBI. No other law enforcement agency in America runs around our communities masked. It's time that we unmask ICE.
Yeah, whatever. This guy's crazy, man, with this unmasked ICE stuff. He's just like, they're threatening their families. They're threatening to hurt them. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I don't. I don't get why they want to do it. You know, Trump's mass deportation operation on steroids will continue until they're all deported. If you're on board with mass deportation, show your ICE agents may prevent something like this from happening to your loved one in the future. How many are too many? Did you ever hear about Rosalinda's preventable death? Of course you didn't. That's why you do this. Yeah. Stabbed. Oh man, March 29th. She was allegedly stabbed by illegals and killed her 2 dogs. Oh, it's terrible, 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 terrible. Yeah. See, this is holy smokes, Julio Rosas just torched Democrats on a Homeland Security Committee to their face. I'm here testifying as a proud Latino, but most importantly, I'm here as an American citizen. The rhetoric coming from one side of the aisle, you want to lose Latinos as simply as an underclass. Yep. Siphon votes, fear-mongering. Yes. They soft power, yeah, threaten agents, their families, that's right. Should be illegal, that's right. Should be illegal to play clips of those. Should be. Mm-hmm. Now we got to keep them here, or else we're going to get a weed. Damn, yeah, we listed that already. Yeah, see, Gavin's America. Time to pick the weed. Get over there, pick the weed for Gavin's guy. Truly being spoken is listening. You should, yes. Antifa needs to be declared a domestic terrorist organization along with every single person. Damn Skippy. Damn Skippy. And this is scary. I saw this. I was like, what? Like, what? What? It says Trump's DOJ just declared war on Maha. Solicitor General, reporting directly to Pam Bondi, is forcing the EPA to appeal the court's ruling on fluoride. The ruling was a massive Maha win. Now they want to ignore it. I hope not. I don't like fluoride in the water. Bookmark this. You're about to read a stunning betrayal of the Maha movement. It's almost certainly happening without Trump's knowledge. We got just 3 days before the appeal drops. Here's what you need to know. September 2024, U.S. District Judge Edward Chen issued a landmark ruling. Fluoride in U.S. water poses an unreasonable risk of reducing IQ in children. The EPA was ordered to take regulatory action. Maha won. At the time of the ruling, over 200 million Americans were drinking fluorinated water at optimal levels, 0.7 milligrams per liter. The ruling was based on years of evidence the EPA tried to hide from the public. Oh, right there, it says, yeah, it reduces, drinking fluoride does reduce IQ. Studies. The case began in 2017, filed under the Toxic Substances Control Act. The lawsuit was brought by several concerned parties, including the Food and Water Watch, Moms Against Fluoridation, FAN, individual parents and children. The EPA denied their initial petition, so they sued. During the trial, Judge Chen reviewed all the regulatory frameworks, peer-reviewed science, and expert testimony. Although the case took 7 years, in typical governance style, the EPA delayed and obstructed every step of the way. Fluoride in drinking water poses enough risk to merit new EPA action, Judge says. In the end, the judge sided with science. Maha secured one of the most important environmental health wins in modern history. But beyond the scenes, chemical companies would start scheming behind it about how to get DOJ on their side. Quick break before we lose each other and forever in the algorithm. I cover Maha about on time. Yes. Yeah, cutie patootie. Since the ruling, the body of evidence against fluoride has only grown. January 2025, JAMA Pediatricians meta-analysis linked fluoride exposure to IQ loss in kids. In August 2024, NTP released a report linking fluoride and neurotoxicity. In May 2024, JAMA opened fluoride-linked behavioral issues in the LA children. The grassroots action was quick to follow. 60-plus towns and counties and even 2 states, Utah and Florida, have voted to end fluoridation. Utah becomes the first state to make it illegal to have fluoride in public drinking water. American Dental Association, American Fluoridation Society, and the corporate media have waged a nonstop PR war to discredit the ruling. They claim fluoride is essential, safe, and cost-effective. It's the same playbook as Big Pharma. Fluoride treatment on your teeth work great. Get it done at the doctor's dentist office, or you use fluoride toothpaste, put it on your teeth, and let it sit there, and don't rinse it off. You don't want to be drinking fluoride water. That's my opinion. Yeah. As if it wasn't hard enough to overcome, now Maha has to fight its own. This week, the Solicitor General of the DOJ will force the EPA to appeal the fluoride ruling. What? Pam Bondi's right-hand man. Several weeks ago, I investigated the divide Maha and MAGA strategy by Big Pharma and the AG. They're doing a great job. I don't know if that's AG or Ag. Could be Big Ag. Big Pharma and Big Ag, maybe. Sadly, the strategy appears to be working. Save this thread and read next. Leak memo shows coordinating conspiracy by big pharma execs to get RFK fired. Trump administration has been targeted by chemical industry lobbyists, and Trump may not even know about it. Get this, the American Chemistry Council and the American Fluoridation Society already filed motions to support the EPA appeal. The appeal hasn't even happened. Sadly, Pam Bondi is no stranger to undermining Maha. Until this week, she was pursuing criminal charges against Dr. Kirk Moore, a Maha-aligned doctor who stood up to the COVID vaccine agenda. He faced 35 years in prison for being a hero and disposing of that crap they were putting in the Fauci ouchies into people's arms so that they didn't poison people. While she eventually changed her mind, it only came after massive pressure from Maha and Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene. The good news is Pam Bondi can be swayed by public opinion. The bad news is that she almost no one is talking about this forced appeal. Make America healthy again, Steve Hillard. Make America healthy again is Maha. That's what Bobby Kennedy Jr. ran on, Make America Healthy Again. And then when he joined with Trump, it was a combination of MAGA and Maha together. Make America great again, make America healthy again. Get rid of all the additives in the food. Get rid of the corn syrup. Go back to sugars. Get rid of back to stuff that's good for you. Not refined stuff. Get stuff that's not ultra processed. Get rid of ultra processed foods. We need to act fast. EPA is planning to file its appeal Friday. After that, it goes to a 3-judge panel. They'll accept briefs from both sides and decide whether to overturn the fluoride ban. I think fluoride just does something to your teeth. It stimulates something to regrow your plaque, if I'm not mistaken, on your teeth. Not plaque, your enamel on your teeth. I think it regrows enamel on your teeth. I think that's all it does. Repairs enamel, I think. It's good to do everything. RFK has fought years to get fluoride out of the water supply. It's a top Maha priority. Since the DOJ is hoping it falls through the cracks without no one noticing. Yeah, see? RFK exposes the danger of fluoride, says it's a neurotoxin, and vows to leave the choice to the individual, not big government. The science is very clear on fluoride, Kennedy said. He pointed to the National Toxicology Program's massive meta review. It said there's direct correlation between the amount of fluoride in the water and the loss of IQ. Even small amounts of fluoride causes IQ loss, particularly in babies and pre-birth if the mother is exposed. Those children are getting no benefit because they don't have teeth. Today we have fluoride in our toothpaste. We have it available in mouthwash. We can get it, but there's no systemic benefit to drink it. It ought to be up to the parents. The government should be saying you should take a neurotoxin. Fluoride reduces bone density. It calcifies your thyroid. It probably is something to say we leave in the individual rather than a state mandate. Yeah.
The science is very clear on fluoride. The National Toxicity Program issued a report, a meta review of all the science on it in August that said there's a direct inverse correlation between the amount of fluoride in your water and your loss of IQ. So even small increments of fluoride cause loss of IQ, and particularly in babies, in neonates, and in pre-birth, if the mother's exposed. And those children are getting no benefit because they don't have teeth. So, and it really should be up to the parents. We have fluoride available. Fluoride made a lot of sense in the 1940s, but today we have fluoride in our toothpaste. We have it available in mouthwash. You can get it. The benefit is topical. There's no systemic benefit. So when you drink it, it's not giving you an additional benefit. So it makes sense, and it ought to be up to the parents. The government shouldn't be saying you should take a neurotoxin. And there's all other kinds of other bad impacts from fluoride. It reduces bone density, and it calcifies your thyroid. 1 out of every 8 women in this country have thyroid problems now. Oh, the balance, when on balance, it's probably something that we want to leave to the individual rather than have the state mandated.
Wow. If they know all this, then they should definitely take it out of the water. There's no reason to keep it in the water. The more stories, Pentagon just exploited the media for its coverage of Trump's Iran sex. Okay. Yeah, we don't see that. So we got that story. Yeah. Oh, this is a good story here. We got Trump just announced pharma tariffs to end our dependence on Chinese pharmaceuticals. 80% of U.S. drug precursors come from China. How did the past administration allow that? Trump's goal, bring our medicine supply home or pay a 200% price. Here's what's coming. Whoa. The biggest reshoring push since Trump saved U.S. Steel. Starting later this month, tariffs will hit foreign-made pharmaceuticals. A low tariff at first, a 200% tariff later. Message to Big Pharma, manufacture in America, pay up. That can't be good for, that isn't going to be good for people who have to get their medicine if it's made other places. The national security issue today, China dominates the active pharmaceutical ingredients. India assembles the generics but heavily relies on China too. We've outsourced our health. Trump is done with that. I think a lot of it has to do too because the waste that EPA setting up the facilities to manufacture stuff creates a lot of waste, byproducts and stuff, and they don't want that here. 80% of APIs are reported, 95% of ibuprofen, 91% of hydrocortisone, 70% of acetaminophen, and 45% of penicillin. That's crazy. 40 to 50 years of poisoning us. It's nuts, right? It's all from China. It's just about trade. It's not just about trade. It's about survival in the next crisis. Trump isn't waiting on Congress. He signed an executive order in May streamlining FDA approval for U.S. drug factories. And he's ordering agencies to cut red tape and fast-track domestic production now. The result? Massive investments already rolling in. Eli Lilly's $27 billion for 4 U.S. plants. Johnson & Johnson, a $55 billion new U.S. project. Novartis, $23 billion. Roche, $50 billion. Merck, $1 billion in Delaware. Merck is just like slow rolling it in with just $1 billion only. Trump's tariff threat is working. Okay. The globalists try to reduce every issue to economics, outsourcing your basic drug needs to China, no problem. It's just dollars and cents, but it isn't. America needs to provide for our own health without dependence on foreign enemies. In a conflict, China won't care about the money, and neither will you. Yeah, so yes, definitely, we need to do that stuff. Definitely need to do that stuff. Oh, this is good. It's a bunch of clips of John Kennedy, the senator from Louisiana. Actually, he's great. He always got the sensible stuff. We're going to speed him up a little bit because he talks slow.
Well, I'm embarrassed to say I don't know. We had a luncheon meeting today. OMB Director Russ Vought came over and tried to explain the bill. I was pretty discouraged after the meeting. I would describe the meeting as organized grab ass. I mean, a million questions of Russ, a lot of whining. Put this in context. The president's asking us to reduce spending by $9 billion. Yeah, that's a lot of money, but that's 0.1% of the budget. And the spending he's asking us to cut is stuff like $3.6 million.
You ain't lying on unhyphenated. That's scary. That's scary to think about, isn't it? We don't want that to happen again.
For male prostitutes in Haiti, $3 million to buy condoms in Zambia, $500,000 to buy electric buses for Rwanda. Just a bunch of spending porn. And I've listened to my Republican colleagues. I love them all. But I've listened to them for years, and certainly for the last 100 days since President Trump was elected, talk about the need to reduce spending. And
yeah, Steve, we need to start making this stuff here in the U.S., but without by just threatening to put a tariff on this stuff, if they don't manufacture it here, and we end up having to pay 200% more for our prescriptions. Oh my God! Oh my Lord! Lordy! That would be crazy.
And here we are on the verge of the vote, and I don't know if it's going to pass. But I know this much after listening to all of this rhetoric about we need to reduce spending. If every Republican doesn't vote for it, we ought to hide our head in the bag, man. It's embarrassing.
Yep, definitely embarrassing. Hide your head in the bag. It's embarrassing. This is exactly why the one beautiful bill matters. Forces Washington to finally confront its spending addiction. Cutting 0.1% of the budget shouldn't spark panic in the swamp. The fact that even this microscopic trim causes meltdown proves how entrenched the waste is. The bill's $1.6 trillion in real cuts exposes the rot. Bureaucracies exist to self-perpetuate, not serve taxpayers. Congress can't trim a fraction of the percent without histrionics. Imagine the resistance to auditing Pentagon slush funds or axing redundant programs. This isn't fiscal conservatism, it's basic accountability. Big Beautiful Bill locks in structural reforms that DC insiders hate because it threatens their gravy train. Going after the rails on the gravy train. And we got some more of John Kennedy being John Kennedy. Says, if you put your hands on a knife officer, you should be prosecuted, get sent to jail, and then spend some quality time with Bubba. Who's Bubba? Is Bubba a friend of his? Huh.
Republican Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana is here now, sir. Hello to you.
Louisiana.
I don't see this ending. In fact, if it's up 830% now, who knows where it'll be 6 months. 6 months from today. What do you think?
They're breaking the law.
Breaking the law,
And
breaking
what
the
you
law,
allow is what will
breaking the
continue.
law, breaking the law.
If you put hands on an ICE officer, you should be prosecuted, you should be sent to jail, and you should get to spend some quality time with Bubba. Until we start doing that and prosecuting these folks.
Bubba Gump,
it
shrimp,
will continue.
shrimp Creole, shrimp
Republican Senator
popcorn,
John Kennedy of Louisiana is here now, sir. Hello.
shrimp Creole, shrimp popcorn, shrimp kebab. Senator Kennedy stance aligns with federal law enforcement and the necessity to protect ICE officers executing their duties. Don't you want some Bubba to love? Don't you need some Bubba to love? Wouldn't you want some Bubba to love? Didn't you know some Bubba to love? Boom, boom. Isn't that Jefferson Scream Ship? Assaulting federal agents isn't dissent, it's criminal. Recent ICE operations in Los Angeles faced violent obstruction, including projectiles thrown at officers and attempts to breach federal facilities. The National Guard's deployment under Title X authority wasn't political theater, it was a lawful response to restore order amid chaos. Those who attack law enforcement undermine the rule of law and endanger public safety. Prosecution isn't optional, it's mandatory. When DHS Secretary Noem faced disruptive interference during a critical briefing, federal security acted decisively. Enforcement isn't about optics, it's about accountability. California's failure to control unrest left no alternative but federal intervention. Support for ICE isn't partisan, it's foundational to national sovereignty. Some Mucinex. Just some Mucinex and stuff like that. And Dayquil. I haven't taken any NyQuil. I'm going to go to bed. But I don't know. Yeah. Oh, and then since we were talking about that Fauci ouchie, we might as well get to this. Johnson & Johnson's Joshua risks flees into a woman's restroom after James O'Keefe questions him on admitting COVID vaccine was not safe and effective. What? This can't be. This is not my opinion. This is what this is saying. I don't know if this is true or not. I don't know what's safe and effective. I have no knowledge about what is safe and effective. Watch the full confrontation at O'Keefe Media. Here, this guy.
Hi, Josh. Joshua Rice, is it? From Johnson & Johnson? Are you Josh Rice from Johnson & Johnson? You're going to deny your identity? Yes, sir. You said that your vaccine was not safe and effective. You said that. How do you sleep at night? Working on a product that you say isn't safe and effective. Why would I say that? Would you like to see yourself on video?
None of that stuff is safe and effective.
You know, where's he going? He's going this way. He's going to run away. Is he going to walk out the back? He's going to the women's restroom. Are you confused? You want privacy, but you said your vaccine doesn't work. I am a human man. I am allowed to take pee in the man's restroom. The people have a right to know. I'm standing here with Joshua Rise, who first denied his own identity, then tried to hide in the women's restroom. Excuse me? Have a great day. Stand behind what you said and explain to us what you meant by it. You shouldn't be surprised that this happened. We have no idea. People, I got it from your mouth.
No. I appreciate what you're trying to do right now.
What am I trying to do? What do you appreciate about it?
Sean, can you please tell me?
Josh?
Sean, what's your name?
Is that you? Just admit to me that's you.
When did I say? Hello.
Hi. Hey, we're talking to a Johnson & Johnson individual right now about the vaccine. Thank you. God bless you too.
Oh my God, that's
Very
funny.
upset at the federal court today. I can't talk to you with the cameras off because the last time I reported on Pfizer, I got fired from my own company. Why say all this stuff to a random in a restaurant, but not to the American people?
Oh man. Wow, that's some crazy stuff, right? The Johnson & Johnson lead scientist confesses. The guy. Let's see.
Research that was done on those products.
Joe Biden says that it's safe and effective, but like he didn't know.
There's no proof. I mean, none of that stuff was safe and effective.
Uh-oh. He says the lack of research from rushing to release the vaccine. People wanted it. We gave it to them. Just in, Johnson & Johnson has removed the lead scientists from their website following our investigation. The company has still not responded to the request for comment. Before, after. A negative mind will never give you a positive life. He got fired. That ain't good. Well, maybe maybe someone could do an investigation. Yeah. All right, now to the next story. The 18-year-old arrested for hitting 2 Connecticut state troopers, both now hospitalized, is Joel Alexander Nishvi, an illegal alien from Ecuador who was released into U.S. under the Biden administration in 2023. Let's see. The Democrat Party had zero credibility on ICE.
Team has confirmed the man accused of injuring 2 state troopers in a crash last week is here illegally.
Your chief investigative reporter, Sam.
That's my shocked face. He's here illegally.
And she's joining us live with more. Sam.
The Department of Homeland Security tells me that Joel Alexander Kietsu Nieshi is from Ecuador and came here illegally in 2023. They have since lodged a detainer for his arrest, meaning they have interest in deporting him. 18-year-old Kietsu is charged with reckless driving and operating without a license. State police say Kietsu...
Boy, he's a dreamer, and his heart's of gold. He wants to run over state troopers and kill them and go. He wants to get them there. He wants to take them out. He's gonna go around the way and gonna dim them down. It's going away because he's a dreamer.
Team has confirmed the man accused of injuring 2 state troopers.
That's terrible. Troopers are very lucky to be alive. Yeah. Democrat Party is really not the Democrat Party. They have zero credibility on everything. Director Bob Clark brought us a Christmas story. His son was killed by an illegal alien drunk driver. Oh, no, man. No. 2007. Oh, police determined that SUV's driver, Hector Manuel Velasquez, had a blood alcohol level 3 times the legal limit, was driving without a license. Was described by federal authorities as being in the U.S. legally. The driver initially pleaded not guilty, constant record manslaughter, but then, oh, my God. Oh, no. The guy who did deporter supporter. That's right. Wow, that's crazy. Oh, this is a crazy story too. This is the bill. This is the crazy bill. So California's new bill, SB 549, to purchase fire-damaged properties is far worse than expected, as it forces California taxpayers, including Palisades residents through their property taxes, to fund the buyout, requiring 40% of the new housing to be for homeless people, overrides community input, and allows rezoning without approval. So they're literally doing the commie thing of taking the property and redistributing it. California. Yep, California. Yeah. Here it is. Senate passes bill that will allow LA to buy fire-ravaged lots to build low-income housing. It's just nuts, right? Nuts, nuts, nuts. Separate from the legislation, Governor Newsom said the state has allocated $101 million in taxpayer funds to expedite multifamily low-income housing development. What's that mean, multifamily? That means more than one family, more than two families, multiple families inside of a project. Huh. California lawmakers are set to meet on Wednesday at the State House to discuss a new law moving through the legislature that will allow Los Angeles to buy lots leveled by destruction of the deadly fires and build low-income housing projects. Senate Bill 549 would allow property taxes to fund what lawmakers are calling resilient rebuilding authorities that could buy ruined land and obtain loans to rebuild. In the ghetto, they're going to get to some of that. Get them then. They're going to get some of that projects. They're going to get them some. Get some projects. According to legislation, the Second Neighborhood Infill Finance and Transit Improvements Act, or NIFTY, that's nifty. Unlike NIMBY, which not in my backyard, nifty is not in my front something or other. Adopt the resolution at any time before or adoption of infrastructure financing plan to enhance infrastructure financing district to allocate tax revenues, including revenues derived from local sales and use taxes. Per the legislation, infrastructure financing plan requires at least 40% of total funds received by the district pursuant to this section be used for acquisitions, construction, or rehabilitation of housing, including the costs of pre-development and land acquisition for households with incomes below 60% of the area median income or rent or purchase. What the hell does that even mean? The infrastructure financing plan passed by the Senate also requires that 50% of the housing funds are used to develop housing affordable to and occupied by households with incomes below 60% and greater than 30% of the area median income, and 50% of the housing funds are used for either housing affordable to be occupied by households with the incomes below 30% of area median incomes and permanent supportive housing to help homeless persons get off the street. Oh my God. That hurts my head just reading that. Two separate ideas open the door for development of multi-family, multi-unit, low-income housing on lots that were single-family homes once stood in Altadena, Pacific Palisades, Malibu, and other devastated areas. Separately, Governor Gavin Newsom announced that he's allocated $101 million in taxpayer funds to jumpstart the building of more low-income housing as homeowners who lost everything have been slow to rebuild. Well, they've been slow to rebuild because they haven't got the permits that they need from the city and state. That's why. Los Angeles has taken significant steps to rebuild, but the devastation is significant and there remains a long road ahead. From Pacific Palisades to Altadena to Malibu, there's still people still displaced, and we all owe it to them to get help. I saw a story the other day about them fining people for having toxic waste in their yards, even though the toxic waste was just the leftover stuff from the fire that they dumped on the fire. But whatever. Newsom said adding the funds to bill the state can accelerate the development of affordable multifamily rental housing so that those rebuilding their lives after this tragedy have access to a safe, affordable place to call home. Tamweekwa Moss, Secretary of the California Business, Consumer Services, and Housing Agency, said that the monies will accelerate household stability, climate, and health outcomes. Yeah, what's climate? Yeah, climate, yeah. In the once vibrant neighborhoods where fire ripped through more than 5,000 homes in the Palisades, roughly 340 along the Pacific Ocean in Malibu, and more than 6,000 homes in Altadena, state, Moss said, will continue to galvanize the public-private response to the wildfire in Los Angeles County by expediting and expanding opportunities to build affordable housing for low-income residents. Doesn't that just warm your heart that they're going to take people's property to build low-income housing and put projects in, housing projects? Warms my heart. Surely does. Shirley does. Shirley. Shirley is my name is Shirley. And here's another thing. So California Senate backs bill for LA to buy burn house for low-income housing. We're not going to. We already kind of went through all this. Says the Senate passed a bill which will enable Los Angeles to purchase land developed. That's it's the same thing we just read. We'll just jump into the next story here. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Scott Jennings. This guy, I love Scott Jennings on CNN. He cracks me up, the stuff he says when he goes at people. What happened to the price of eggs, Democrats? Fortunately, I'm immune to the Democrat gaslighting that was attempted here. I'll produce receipts. Let's see here. Julie Radzinski, who's talking here, she used to be on Fox. She used to be pretty good. I used to be able to deal with her.
People are suffering. You know how I know this? Because I heard all about that from you last year when I would debate you, and you kept talking about how the price of eggs is really high. Well, guess what? It's much higher now than it was when you and I were debating.
We're literally lying about the eggs.
Wait, excuse me.
Eggs are down.
No, whoa.
Eggs are down.
Guys, stop. Okay, Scott, before you accuse her of lying, I literally just went over this. She is correct that year over year, the
Since
price...
Donald Trump took office, what happened to the eggs?
Oh, my God. Do you not understand that the difference between...
Who was the president last year at this time?
Scott, do you understand?
And then when did they spike?
Julie, let me
And when did they come
just
down?
resolve this so we can move on because this is a silly
You
conversation.
totally derailed this conversation. She's trying to have a serious panel, and you're out here
you are
arguing
derailing the
about eggs.
conversation.
No, I'm not.
Pardon me.
She's not telling the
Pardon
truth about
me,
the eggs.
but you're derailing the conversation, okay? I think people have the ability to understand the difference between the price of eggs today and the price of eggs a year ago today versus what you would prefer to talk about, which is the price of eggs when Donald Trump was inaugurated. You're just talking about
his policies?
You're talking about two different time horizons. Okay? Let's just leave it at that
Aren't
and
his
move on.
policies or what
Please,
is-
continue.
They made it higher than it was when
Continue,
Joe
Chair
Biden was
Michael.
president.
Yeah, that lady is the worst. The worst. But here, what do you see here? Average price of eggs. Look at this. Oh, look at this. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Egg prices are down. And so now they go, oh, but see, they're higher now than they were when Biden, before Biden started going up. So, yeah, see right here. Oh, wait, what? September, October. Oh, wait. Oh, shit. Wait. Oh. I mean, you're going to play these games and say, like, but Biden was the president that killed all the chickens. That is correct, Trumpinator. It's ridiculous. It really is that this is the games they're playing. They're going to say, oh, Trump, what about the egg prices? The egg prices are higher than they were under Biden. Boy. Can't win with these people. Really can't. They were blaming stuff on Trump a week into his presidency, but for the price of eggs, they went to go back a year. Not sure how you deal with Abby. She's so condescending as usual. She's wrong. Lowering Egg Prices Act of 2025, HR 2222, exposes Washington's failure to address the core supply chain issues. While the bill claims to streamline surplus broiler hatching egg sales to breakers, reveals bureaucratic tinkering, not market solutions. The real drivers, avian flu wiped out 50 million egg-laying hens, while panic buying households stockpiled 600 million plus extra eggs. That's a lot of yolk. DC responds with regulatory theater instead of culling red tape, subsidizing biosecurity or fast-tracking hen repopulation. Blaming Democrats misses the point. Both parties enable a system that treats crisis as PR opportunities. Until agencies last 21 CFR 118.4's 75-page egg storage rules and prioritizes farmers over paperwork, prices stay high. The real story behind eggs prices isn't partisanship. It's bipartisan addiction to bureaucracy. Dig in the details. Yeah, they killed the chickens, but they claimed that it was because of the avian flu. So they lied. They lied, they did. Yes, they did. Yeah. See here, it's not complicated. There's the eggs. Then we got another one. We're going to have another crazy thing. Food prices have steadily declined since Trump took office, but math is hard for Democrats. They still want to blame Trump for inflation. Wait. Is this the same thing?
Data is worth watching every month.
But it's not.
But it's a lot of, it seems like a lot of panic for no reason. You're getting matched reports every month.
It's not panic when we were promised on August 15th of last year that the price of eggs, that the price of bacon, and the price of apple.
69%.
Actually, eggs year over year are up by 20. Are up 27%.
They're down.
I'm
Since
sorry.
he took office, they're down.
But if year over year.
All right.
He promised when he took office they would go down.
Hold on. Let's not fight about statistics here. She's right. Year over year.
She's right, year over year. So yeah. Before they started killing all the chickens, the prices are up since then. It's 20% higher than it was when they were low, but they're down 60% from when they were high. Yeah. See? Yeah. Okay, so food prices aren't the only metric crashing under Trump's leadership. Bureaucratic bloat is too. See? See? The one big beautiful bill, H.R. 1, proves real reform. 1.6 trillion in spending cuts redirects funds from globalist pet projects to American productivity. While D.C. Democrats cling to Biden's inflationary legacy, Trump's tariffs and energy prices drive output. Core inflation dropped to 2.1% since January. Real math, every dollar saved from wasteful agencies fuels domestic growth. Biden's ghost still haunts grocery aisles, but Trump's economic velocity is flushing out the rot. See which agencies are on the chopping block and how the numbers step up. CNN fact check again. Effing clowns. Look at the pricing in check. Look at this. 2021. Oh, 2023. Look at this. Oh, inflation 3%, 3%. Look at this. Trump. September, December, March, June. Oh my God. Look at this. Oh, wow. Wow, look at this. Trump. So, hey, nuts. Hey, nutsos over there. Oh, here's more CNN craziness. Shame on you, Abby Phillips, for allowing this and defending it. Ana Navarro dismissed his opinion of CNN panelist because he's a white man. I might be hyperbolic for you and a white man. Well, let's see what this is.
Also, I want to respond to you saying that I was hyperbolic when I talked about a reign of terror.
Because that is hyperbolic.
No, it might be hyperbolic for you as a white man.
Oh, okay.
It's certainly not hyperbolic for me as a
racist.
Latino. No, I'm not being racist.
It's to dismiss my opinion for being a white man.
No, I'm not dismissing your opinion. I am telling you that the Latino community, the brown community in America.
Speak in one voice.
Okay, well, let me speak with my voice. I mean, you said I was being hyperbolic. Let me respond.
Racially, sure.
I'm not. You being a white man as an insult?
When you invoke it to dismiss my
being
opinion,
a white man as an insult?
When you invoke it,
do you think Latinos are living under circumstances that other people may not be right now in this country?
We're about to have a whole conversation about that very thing. But I just want to make a point that, Brad, all she's saying is that her view of the situation is different from yours. I don't think that's an insult.
She basically said I'm wrong because I'm a white man.
She just said I see it. I see it differently from you, which is not an insult. It's not, and it's also not.
Yeah, it's
racial.
not. It's never an insult.
We have a lot more to discuss on this.
It's never an insult when it's about white people. So, never an insult when it's about white people. Never. Imagine what would happen if he had dismissed her opinion because she's a Hispanic female. Yeah, Abby Phillips would have ended the segment, and he would have been banned from the network. Double standards. These things are exactly the same as trash TV shows. So glad Abby's still there to tell us why this isn't racist when they said it's about a white person. Yeah. White man is a very common response when debating an angry liberal with him. Yeah, it can be. So, what you can do? It's going to keep marching on. And this is great too. This is great news. It's making civil rights great again. Buckle up for the next 100 days. That's right. Harmeet Dillon just bringing the pain. First 100 days under A.G. Dillon's leadership, the Civil Rights Division has returned to enforcing the law as written, fairly, equally, and without political agenda. That's right.
100 days ago, I stepped into this role with a mission to return the Civil Rights Division to the rule of law, to treat all Americans fairly, and to restore public trust and equal justice under the Constitution. Thanks to the inspiring vision of President Trump and the strong leadership of Attorney General Pam Bondi, we're doing exactly that. We've corrected course where previous administrations got it wrong. When California forced girls to compete against males on high school sports teams and denied girls the fair opportunity to win titles, earn scholarships, and access safe sex facilities, we filed suit.
That's right. Go get
We
them.
will always resolutely defend women's opportunities under federal law. When North Carolina failed to maintain an accurate voter list and Wisconsin failed to give its voters a compliant procedure under the Help America Vote Act, we didn't back down. We notified them of their violations. All Americans should have confidence in our elections, and failing to follow the law will result in withholding federal funds. When a foreign recruitment firm refused to consider American workers for jobs in their own country, we took action. And under our revived Protecting U.S. Workers initiative, they paid up and they changed course. When a terrorist firebombed a peaceful group in Colorado, just expressing support for Israel, we indicted him on 12 federal hate crimes charges within 6 hours. When a coffee shop in Oakland brazenly refused service to Jewish customers, celebrated terrorism, and smeared its walls with anti-Semitic symbols, we didn't look the other way.
I thought you were going to say smeared their walls with poop.
Discrimination based on religion is illegal, intolerable, and un-American. And when the University of California system tried to impose race and sex-based hiring quotas in violation of multiple federal laws, we launched an investigation. Public institutions are not above the Constitution. We are also fighting discrimination wherever it exists, and we will enforce the law without fear or favor. We withdrew a baseless legal filing that would have forced states to fund dangerous elective surgeries for inmates. Let me be clear, there is no Eighth Amendment right to taxpayer-funded gender surgeries in prison.
That's right.
We stood up for men and women in uniform, winning millions of dollars so far in settlements, from cell phone to property management companies that illegally charged early termination fees to our service members who were deployed under military orders. And we secured long overdue reforms for students with disabilities in a Michigan school district that subjected these children to abusive seclusion and restraint practices. This is what civil rights enforcement should look like: constitutional, equal, unapologetic, and grounded in law, not ideology. To the American people, we hear you, we work for you, and this division is once again working as it should for all Americans. We've accomplished a great deal in 100 days, but let me be clear, our work is just getting started.
Wow, that was crazy, right? That was crazy. She's awesome. She's awesome. And also, I don't know if you guys know, but you guys know about the Breonna Taylor shooting that was in Tennessee, I want to say, or Kentucky, Tennessee, Louisiana, Louisville. Can't remember if it was Kentucky or Tennessee. But anyway, they were raiding her house because they were looking for an ex-boyfriend or something that she was selling drugs for, or some other stuff was going on. And her current boyfriend thought they were getting robbed or something was happening, so he started a gunfight with the cops. She got killed. Well, one cop, not the cop whose bullets killed her, but a different cop who started shooting first, I think they finally got convicted on federal charges. Well, Harmeet filed to, said that, yeah, we don't think he should actually go to jail, though. They should file the whole thing. I don't have it pulled up enough, but she filed a response saying that, yeah, we think that the Biden administration shouldn't have prosecuted this case. So who knows? Maybe, I don't know. So, breaking, Trump just flipped the holdouts. After 12 GOP rebels tanked the House cripple vote, Trump pulled them out into the Oval Office. Now they're back on board. Tomorrow, the anti-CBDC vote goes forward, and that's why we call him a deal maker. Yes. It burns my butt that Bondi will get the credit for Harmeet's work, too. Definitely. The rule vote failed 196 to 223. Why? The Freedom Caucus members were worried that the Senate would gut the CBDC ban from the crypto bills. It's a reasonable concern, but Trump is on it. So Trump got to work. Yeah, he says, make America great again and stuff. Trump met with 11 of the 12 holdouts. Johnson joined by phone. One by one, they flipped. They've all agreed to vote tomorrow morning in favor of the rule. Crypto week is back on. Why does it matter? Because these bills do three things. They ban Biden's central bank digital currency. They regulate stablecoins like digital dollars with clear rules. They bring sanity to the crypto markets without killing innovation. Trump just revived all three. Most important bill, the Anti-CBDC Surveillance State Act, would ban the Fed from launching a government crypto, block the Fed from using digital dollars to control your spending, and ban pilot programs that are already happening quietly. Ban them from doing this crap that they're trying to do. A CBDC is a financial panopticon, programmable money, government control of every transaction, and the ability to turn it off if you dissent. Biden wanted it. Trump killed it by executive order. Now he's moving to codify the ban. That's right. Holdouts were right to demand reassurances. They wanted all three crypto bills tied together, wrapped it all up in a bow so that the CBDC ban couldn't get stripped in the Senate. Trump gave them the assurances they needed. The left didn't see this coming. While they were busy attacking Trump over NFTs and Bitcoin, he was building a coalition to legalize digital freedom, block totalitarian government, and reassert American innovation. Bitcoin surged to $120,000 on the news. Woo! Trump just revived the most consequential crypto package in U.S. history and kept the CBDC ban alive. Tomorrow's vote will define whether Republicans stand for free markets, financial privacy, and the end of surveillance currency. Let's get it done. Make it America great again. Yeah, get it done. What's this? Breaking, according to this New York Times special report. Yeah, I wonder whatever happened with that inspection of Fort Knox gold, Steve. I didn't hear anything else about it myself. Makes me wonder what's going on. Did they just forget about that? Or did someone say, shh? President Trump has drafted a letter to fire Jerome Powell, New York Times. Man, I really hope this is true. Send it, Donald J. Trump. He should have been fired months ago. Spending billions to renovate the Federal Reserve while we're in the deep financial debt. It's insane. It's disqualifying. It's maddening. He's got to go. He literally lied under oath to Congress multiple times. That's not grounds for firing him. I don't know what is. The Fed's $2.5 billion renovation scandal proves DC's priorities are broken. They're just broken. Nobody knows how to fix it. Bloated projects like this, not defense of border security, are why taxpayers demand accountability. Powell's mismanagement of this boondoggle, H.R. 5108, highlights systemic waste. Firewalls being between the monetary policy and construction oversight have failed completely. Real reform starts with auditing every dollar, slashing bureaucracy, redirecting the funds to American priorities, not marble palaces for bureaucrats. For American people. The era of unchecked spending dies. Yeah. POTUS says on Jerome Powell, he says he's too late. He's always been too late. He's terrible. He's a terrible Fed chair. Worst chair ever. His chair doesn't even have 4 legs. He's only got 3 legs. It falls over all the time. It's a terrible chair.
Do you have plans, or if you're back considering firing Jerome Powell? And what's your justification if you're thinking about this to do this?
Too late. He's always been too late. Hence his nickname, Too Late. He should have cut interest rates a long time ago. Europe has cut them 10 times in the short period of time, and we cut them none. The only time he cut them was just before the election to try and help Kamala or Biden, whoever the hell it was, because nobody really knew. Obviously, that didn't work, but he tried to cut him for
Didn't work.
the
Couldn't help.
Democrats, Kamala.
Tried to help him. Couldn't help him. Couldn't do it. How
did that work out? You'll tell me.
Didn't work out. Didn't work out too well.
But
Didn't work.
he's I think he does a terrible job. He's costing us a lot of money.
The worst. Costs us
and we
a ton of
fight
money.
through it. It's almost.
It's almost like he's doing it on
country's become
purpose.
So successful that it doesn't have a big impact. But
like he sucks.
It does hurt
He's
people
horrible.
wanting to get a mortgage. People want to buy a house.
Yeah, I want to buy a house. You want to buy a house? We all want to buy houses.
Fed chair. I was
Let's buy
surprised he
houses.
was appointed. I was surprised, frankly, that Biden put him in and extended him.
Yeah, Biden put him in and extended him, but Biden didn't know what he was doing because Biden was woo.
So, no, we're not planning on doing anything. We're very concerned. He's doing a little renovation for $2.5 billion of the Fed, building a renovation, and they have a close to $900 million cost overrun. And it's a shame, but the biggest cost overrun is the cost overrun for interest rates, because we should be paying 3 points lower, and we would save $1 trillion a year in interest.
We could save $1 trillion in interest a year. Trillion. 1 trillion. That's with a T. That's 1,000 billions. That's 100,000 millions. Or million billion. I'm sorry. That's 1 million millions. 1 million millions. It's a million millions. 1 million million millions. It's nuts. Nuts. Mm-hmm. Biden's Fed Chair Powell failed. Slow on inflation, clueless on rates, and obsessed with renovating his D.C. palace instead of fixing the economy. Trump's right. Powell's delays crushed families with high prices and stagnant growth. Time to replace bureaucratic debt rate with leadership that prioritizes American prosperity over D.C. bloat. The Fed's incompetence is breathtaking, and the independence that they claim they have, it's just a myth. It's a myth. They're not independent. They're part of the federal government. They're part of the executive branch. They're established by Congress. That means Trump has the right to fire them, because Trump has the right to hire them. And their independence is a myth when it costs, and our incompetence is costing us taxpayers billions of dollars. That's right. That's right. Done on purpose. Yeah, that's right. And now Trump says he's not planning to fire him. Look at this. This is nuts.
Fed chair. I was surprised he was appointed. I was surprised, frankly, that Biden put him in and extended him. But they did. So, no, we're not planning on doing anything.
He's not planning on doing anything. Not planning on doing anything. He's not planning on doing anything. Not planning on doing anything. We'll see. Hopefully they do something. On to the next story. Former Spokane, Washington City Council President Ben Stuckart has been charged with conspiracy to impede or injure officers after an anti-ICE protest last month. Stuckart organized an anti-ICE protest where he reportedly blocked an illegal alien transport van. FAFO. Look at this. Here he is. That's him. See? Look at him. Arrest him. Take him away. Take him away, my boy. Take him away. Because blocking federal agents during lawful ICE operations is a crime. It isn't activism. It's criminal obstruction. Stuckart's charges prove that disrupting enforcement has consequences. ICE was executing warrants for individuals with revoked work permits, which means they no longer had the legal right to work in the United States. That means they had to go home. Bye-bye. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Just go, 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 go. ICE was executing warrants for individuals with revoked work permits, yet protesters escalated tensions by barricading vans and defying dispersal orders. They just wouldn't listen to go. They said, you don't have to stay, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. They just didn't leave. That's that. Federal law isn't optional, and DHS doesn't negotiate with mobs. When local leaders like Stuckart prioritize performative defiance over public safety that fuels chaos, it's not justice. The Spokane protest wasn't about rights. It was about undermining lawful authority. It was about causing a scene. It was about making noise, doing stuff, and pushing back, and resistance. Well, that's a crime. Resistance is a crime. Law enforcement's use of force to clear barricades and restore order was necessary. No more excuses. Enforce the law or face accountability. That is what Jim tells you. Got to do real time. Mm-hmm. The next story we got here tonight is German judge Anna Maya Göring has let 8 migrant men go free after they assault a 15-year-old girl for 3 hours, ruling migration frustration is a factor. Freed men are Afghan, Iraqi, Syrian, Moroccan, Turkish, and Bulgarian. Well, there she is, you see. Mm-hmm. She says they must go free because there's not. Breaking stories from 2023 Hamburg trial and 2020 gang rape of 15-year-old girl by 9 young men. Under juvenile law, 8 got suspended. They suspended the sentence. They suspended the sentence. Meet the 3 Republican senators that voted no on President Trump's DOGE rescission packages of spending cuts, which included $9 billion in cuts to USAID, NPR, and PBS. Senator Collins, Senator McConnell, and Senator Murkowski. Murkowski has got to go in Alaska. There is absolutely zero reason that Murkowski is the senator from Alaska. Zero reason that she should be the senator from Alaska. Trump needs to make it a point that she has to go. Go, 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 go. Out of office, yeah. Cocaine Mitch is on his way out. He's just doing this. I don't know what he's doing. I don't even know. He's probably not there. Someone else is pulling the string, because last time I seen it, they had him like on a dolly, wheeling him around. He's like this. And they're just, he got to go. Then this story out of Texas, I thought, was Texas Democrats are threatening to flee the state to prevent the House from achieving a quorum. Doing so would prevent Texas from sending aid to the flood victims. General Paxton has called for the arrest of any Democrat who fails to show up to the Capitol for work. Yeah, they defunded PBS and NPR. The vote went through. PBS, NPR, and USAID is completely defunded. Yeah. Texas AG calls for the arrest of Democrats that flee the state. Democrat members of the Texas House of Representatives are threatening to flee the state to prevent the House from achieving a quorum. General Paxton calling for the arrest if they do. If the House fails to achieve quorum, the state will be unable to provide much-needed aid to the victims of the recent flash floods. I mean, that's just crazy. If the Democrats tried to flee the state to keep them from being able to vote to give aid to the people suffering from the floods, I mean, that's low down dirty. That's some down low, dirty down low business there. I cannot believe it. Well. Unfortunately, we did not meet our goal tonight. We only got 17 out of the 30, so we're not going to continue very much longer here. This might be the last story. It's Soros DA every time. Here we go. Colorado DA faces recall after seeking to dismiss charges against trans sex offender accused of trying to kidnap an 11-year-old boy. Now, you might think, well, trans sex offender, what's it? Wait, what? Wait, what a minute? What? That looks like a demon. That doesn't look like a trans. That looks like a demon. And it says he began identifying as a woman and began taking hormone shots. Oh. Colorado DA faces recall after seeking to dismiss charges against a trans sex offender accused of trying to kidnap an 11-year-old boy. That's just nuts. We got a couple more here. We'll just buzz through the rest of them. What's this? Holy shit. CEO of Crowds on Demand tells me that he was offered $220 million to recruit demonstrators for the anti-Trump protests on Thursday. Wow. Let's see what he says here.
Have the organizers of the July 17th demonstrations approached you?
Interests aligned with the organizers of the July 17th movement have approached us. And in fact, we rejected an offer that probably is worth around $20 million.
$20 million?
Correct. I mean, this is a nationwide thing, right? It's not to say I would have made $20 million personally, but the value of the contract would have been worth around that amount nationwide to organize huge demonstrations around the country. But personally, I just don't think it's effective. So it's not I'm not trying to call myself virtuous for rejecting it. What I'm saying is
they were using these services though.
He says he would not say, says he does not talk about who exactly him the $20 million. That, of course, was the natural question, but he says he would not say.
Before I let you go, did he explain about why he doesn't want to be involved with Thursday's protests?
Well, he said he had some concern about violence based on what he's seen.
Yeah, but he had no problem being involved in all the other protests. Yeah. That's a revealing moment in modern activism. Across the man's bidding, they turned down $20 million to bolster anti-Trump protest. Says everything they need to know. The protests aren't organic. If there's money behind the scenes trying to manipulate public sentiment, wake up call. Genuine dissent doesn't need funding. It just needs conviction. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Oh, here we go. This is a good story. Self-proclaimed hate crime victim in Texas, arrested for allegedly spray painting racist graffiti, blowing up home that killed 2 of his accomplishments. Say what? There's so much hate crimes going around that they have to manufacture themselves.
Mario Roberson's Cyprus living room in June 2023, he claimed the truth was coming out.
I think the Lord brings to light when evil was out there, he shined.
Just 2 hours earlier, 2 people had been killed in an explosion at Roberson's Huntsville rental home. An incident he repeatedly implied was linked to alleged racism in the neighborhood's HOA.
Racism, power, hungriness, money has gotten us to this place.
Weeks before the fire, Roberson contacted ABC 13, claiming the HOA was behind racist graffiti on his home. In this body camera video collected the morning of the fire, you can hear him cite the report while further implicating the group to law enforcement.
I accused him on the news. I let them know who I thought it was and the reasons why.
But in a newly unsealed federal indictment, authorities claim Roberson orchestrated both the graffiti and arson, hiring a family member who hired 2 others to help start the fire, all part of a purported attempt to collect insurance money.
Yes, I was standing by the window saying, y'all better come over and go. And the gas went boom, and I caught it fire.
Law enforcement believes the arson attempt was bungled, killing 2 of the 3 men, including Roberson's relative. This body camera video shows authorities confronting the sole survivor who had just run from the building on fire.
I'm telling you, I'm from Houston. This dude, he told me, bring him out here to Huntsville. All right. He said somebody supposed to do a
numbers job on the house. Wow. That's terrible. Terrible. Another failed attempt at a hate hoaxing Western kind. These anti-whites will go remarkable lengths to push the narrative that white people are a scourge on civilization when it is they, driven by childish jealousy and envy, who are the ones destroying their own high-trust society. That's right, man. We're getting everything. So this is going to be the last story of the day. Here we go. Oh, man. CARE is turning... Wait, you know what? There is one more story. We're going to do this after this. There's one story I'm going to pull up. CARE is turning Houston into Sharia beachhead in the U.S. home and command and center. Here we go.
The Houston branch of the Council on American Islamic Relations, or CARE, is commending Houston airports. This is for establishing a new room to perform wudu and prayer facilities at George Bush Intercontinental Airport. Wudu refers to the purification Muslims perform before prayer. Located in Terminal D, CARE says the facilities offer a clean, peaceful space for daily prayers and ablution. It is one of the first airports in the U.S. to offer such amenities.
Did you know that Houston Bush Intercontinental Airport has a full mosque? Come check it out with us. Located across from Gate D16, they offer both men and women prayer areas. When you first go in, you enter directly into the wudu area. One thing to note is that there's no toilets in here, so use the bathroom before you come in. From the wudu area, you enter directly into the prayer hall.
Cool, right? That's awesome, right? So woke, right? All right. So yeah. So this is. So this is what we got there. All right. And then I wanted to show you this. So then we got this. We got attempted Islamic honor killing. 2 fundamentalist Muslim migrants from Iraq are on trial in Olympia, Washington over a horrific attack on their teen daughter outside Timberline High School last year. Prosecutors say Ishan Ali and Sahra Ali strangled the girl to try to kill her as revenge for her rejecting their plan to marry her off to an older Muslim man in their home country. The girl's parents disapprove of her living an American lifestyle and having an American boyfriend. They allegedly hunted her down after she ran away the day she was supposed to fly to Iraq. Neither of the parents speak English, and both are being provided with an Arabic translator at trial. Watch the harrowing surveillance video showing brave schoolboys fighting the dad to try to save the girl as she was being choked out. The girl was able to break free after multiple people intervened. The mother allegedly grabbed the girl by the neck when she tried to run for her life. Dun, 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 dun.
A possible attempted honor killing, which shook the Timberline High School community, now on trial in Thurston County Superior Court. Prosecutors accuse both Ihsan and Zahra Ali of choking their 17-year-old daughter outside the high school to the point where she couldn't breathe and lost consciousness. Part of the incident was caught on camera from a nearby block.
Her eyes were rolling to the back of the head. You can tell she was not able to breathe.
She was not able to breathe.
And the way he was squeezing, he was choking her.
Court records state the victim's father had previously threatened her with an honor killing for refusing an arranged marriage with an older man in another country. Several bystanders, including other students, the bus driver, and other adults passing through the area, had to step in and pry the victim from her father's grip.
I noticed her eyes rolling to the back of her head. And what I did is I grabbed his hand and I pulled it off. Was able to spread his arms apart, and that's when she got free.
Other eyewitnesses described the chaos unfolding in front of the high school, with teens screaming.
Her eyes are rolling in the back of her head. She can't breathe. Someone call 911. Let go.
Isn't someone going to argue this is just cultural differences, though? Just cultural differences. That's all. Just cultural differences. Just cultural differences. That's all. So, some cultural differences are just difference. Like it says, some cultures have rape, beheadings, burn people alive, female genocide, hostage taking, honor killing, slavery, oppression, women, jihad, and pedophilia. But other cultures don't have that stuff. But some cultures do. So you just have to, Here's the story. Watch video resurfaces as trial begins for the parents accused of honor killing attempt. They tried to kill their 17-year-old daughter in October 2024. Ishan Ali and his wife Zahra Ali are charged with second-degree attempted murder, kidnapping, and all this other stuff, and I hope they get the chair. The victim told police that she was they were forcing her to go to another country, prompted her to run away. She wouldn't take no for an answer, and then once she was placed in a chokehold, she wasn't able to breathe. Multiple witnesses so this was bad, man. Plan was to take a city bus to school, get there, wait for a city bus. Father tried to approach her, The victim's boyfriend, mother, later told police that she had been present once for a CPS interview when the 17-year-old said she was trying to say that her father recently been threatening her with an honor killing for refusing an arranged marriage. Wait a minute. So she told CPS the father threatened an honor killing and CPS didn't do shit? Well, CPS has got a problem then. Then here we go. Yes. Breaking news. PBS and NPR, USAD have all been officially defunded by the House and Senate. Thank you, President Trump. The yeas are 51 and nays are 48. HS4 Rescissions Act. So Senate rescissioned them. And it says Rescissions Act of 2025 cuts $9 billion from foreign aid slush funds and public media subsidies. Exact type of bureaucrat blow dodge AI exists to expose the 1.1 clawback from Corporation for Public Broadcasting and taxpayer funding for NPR, PBS, which became partners of megaphones rather than neutral platforms, while critics claim rural stations will suffer. The bill forces public media to operate without forcing citizens to fund content many find ideologically hostile. Foreign aid reductions target programs like USAID's Global Health Fund, state's $1.6 billion Economic Support Fund, both notorious for wasteful spending. This isn't austerity, it's surgical removal of DC's self-licking ice cream cone. 51 to 48 Senate vote proves even slim majorities can drain swamps. The next step, audit every dollar redirected from these rescissions to ensure it actually benefits taxpayers. See which of the programs got acts and where the money is headed. Which senators voted no? It's a 51 to 48, all 48 opposing coming from the Democrats. This vote expressed a clear pattern. Nearly half the Senate fought. Also, all Republicans there voted for it that were present, maybe? Yeah. Rescissions Act 2025 passed Senate 5148. All 41 opposing votes come from Democrats who prioritize protecting foreign aid, slush funds, and taxpayer subsidy media over fiscal responsibility. The vote exposes a clear pattern. Nearly half the Senate fought to preserve $9.4 billion in wasteful spending, including USAID's unaccountable global health slush fund and NPR subsidies became partisan platforms. While the specific names of the 48 senators aren't listed, their collective stance proves the establishment addiction to funding bureaucratic bloat. Next step, implementing real-time spending trackers with every rescinded dollar to ensure it's redirected to border security, veterans care, and debt reduction. Yet another DC money pit. Well, boys and gals, I think that's going to be the end of the show this evening. I believes that would be the end of the show this evening. Oh, I lost a couple subs. That's crazy. What do you know? People that just subbed up just to watch, I guess. Yeah. So, with that being said, I will bid you adieu. And I'll tell you, thanks for being here. Please remember to hit the like, subscribe. Please tell your friends to come on by and let everybody know that this is where Jim tells you the news. See you tomorrow night, 10 o'clock. Be there.